All quiet here ahead of the Fed. Coming up this afternoon, we'll get the latest decision on interest rates from Fed Chair Powell and also comments to go along with that at 2:30. Make sure you're back with us live this afternoon for that. Not going to get any change as far as interest rates are concerned, as we've been saying all week long, but it will be interesting to see what Fed Chair Powell has to say. A lot of questions expected on what happened last week. Remember, not one but two inflation prints higher than expected last week, so still potentially more work to do for Fed Chair Powell and the rest of the Fed. Here's the overall market back to the upside ever so slightly here this morning to the tune of 0.2%. We'll have a look at NVIDIA once again, this AI Woodstock event continuing today. A few more minor headlines yesterday. Didn't really move on them, but still a positive day after the move downside initially for NVIDIA. Chips back on watch, Tesla back on watch, more price changing to come over in China this time for the Model Y. It's Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Nice continuation move here from the slow grind back to the upside from yesterday midday and then into the afternoon. We closed basically at the highs there after the initial move downside yesterday, if you remember, off the move in NVIDIA, essentially. That was the entire market move early on yesterday. We get the recovery then throughout the remainder of the session. Yeah, all eyes on Fed Chair Powell coming up this afternoon with this latest decision on interest rates. Remember, the key here and the more important thing, we're going to get the economic projections for the first time this year. We're going to get the dot plot for the first time this year. First time since December, we'll see the dot plot, so we'll get an idea of how their perception, I guess, of how things are transpiring has changed in just a matter of 3 months here, really.
Absolutely. The comparisons are going to be on, Brendo, because we had 3 rate cuts priced in last time. So we'll see if those 3 rate cuts are still on the table, whether they've been increased or decreased. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of economic data has come in since that time, a lot of it pointing up that inflation is still a pressing issue. Lots to talk about today. Intel with that big grant, Brendo. Boeing under more pressure as they look to maybe capitalize on Spirit Aerosystems purchase. We'll see.
Yeah, it was, what was it, Monday? We were sitting here talking about Intel maybe not getting funding from the government, and then 2 days later, here they have some funding for the government. So yeah, we'll get into that. PDD looks pretty good this morning to the upside off earnings. We'll touch on that a little bit, but I was just reading a story on Mobileye and Volkswagen teaming up as well. So nice gap for MBLY this morning on team up there, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. I mean, Mobileye, volume on Mobileye. No, I mean, that stock has been a bit of a dog. The most impressive thing, the mic's not even on. My earpiece won't even connect today. I feel like it's like one of those days. It'll be fine by Fed time. All jokes aside, Pinduoduo's up 18% right now. So yeah, good quarter for them. I suppose when you beat on the top and the bottom, every now and then the stock actually just reacts the way that you would expect after a big earnings move. Feels like that's not always the case. Everything in crypto's down except for Riot, last I checked, because they got an upgrade. So we're going to be watching crypto. Obviously, the pullback has been on. The chip names are front and center because of all the volatility we've seen with the event still happening. And there is an IPO today. It's Astera Lab. Not the big one. I know everyone's probably more excited to trade the Reddit IPO, but there is this Astera Lab, which at some point today is supposed to open up there. And then, of course, Intel did get the grant. I'm in the starter early. Last time it had a gap up. I do remember there was a bigger dip at the open, so I have an initial dip buy, but I might like a better one at 42.50 if this one doesn't hold. So I think we've got a lot to get into. It's opening day for baseball, and I'm the only one that cares about that. I guarantee you that, but I got baseball on my mind for lots of reasons.
You're the only person in this office that would know that.
Oh, 100% true.
That is 100% true. Okay, so Coinbase yesterday was an absolute monster. So we'll see if we can do that again today. Yesterday's #1 P&L stock, unless it was, yeah, I think it was this. There was one other one there. But we shorted this yesterday at this 233, 234 area, and this is what happened. And we were able to get some good outs as well, down into 230, one around 229. So we had some good outs, and at the end of the day, we played off this 250 period, so in and around 230. Now today, you get back to the upside with Coinbase and Bitcoin attached to each other. 64,000 seems to be a good little number here. We'll see if we can get back going. The Fed interest rates generally would affect Bitcoin. It seemed like that in the past, but with the 99% chance that we do nothing, I don't really think too much will happen down here with BTC. But for right now, it's trying to hold, and yeah, it's been a pretty good couple days here for Bitcoin. Obviously, it's fallen down, but I feel like we've been holding okay down at these levels. So, there's 62. We're well off. I didn't even realize we got down to 60,775 yesterday. Wow, we almost broke 60,000. Okay, so maybe it wasn't holding as good as I thought. But either way, this 62 level is pretty good there. Now you're trying to get back up to the upside. We'll see if we can't get back over to 66. I feel like today we'll land somewhere in 66, 67,000, and then we know some pretty key levels. I bid $38 when we get to 67,000. There's lots happening there in cryptoverse, but yeah, it should be an exciting day. We'll see if there's anything happening. 2:30 is when we take the podium, and that's hopefully where the market moves.
Yeah, ahead of that, we are seeing a little bit of strength here from the US dollar once again today, back higher for 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 days in a row. We're back above 104. And holding yields back to the upside again this morning as well. So also limiting potential upside for the overall market here this morning. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a wait and see, I think, ahead of what is to come this afternoon.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, the 2-year, Brendo, because we got into that area that we got to in early March where we topped out at 4.7. We almost got there yesterday again, got 4.682. So right up into that area as the shorter end of the curve is under some pressure here as these rate cuts that we've been talking about may not manifest. So we'll have to see what Jerome brings at 2:30 today.
Yeah, we were back to, talking with Frank yesterday, we were back to 55, I think it was, around 55% for June now. So we'll see. As far as earnings today, I mentioned this one off the top there. PDD just took out day highs, still going. Huge move up here, almost 19% at the highs there for PDD. Off, nice beat for them. There's JKS, they reported. We haven't heard from the Solars in the past little while here, rightfully so if you zoom out a little bit on a higher time frame. Absolute disaster.
It's the interest rate story again, Brendo, with Solars. We've been watching this for a long time. Ever since interest rates started going up, solar stocks have been going down. So I think they're really looking for some reprieve here from the Fed. Startup costs are always prohibitive, with respect to solar startup. But with PDD, I really want to mention this because this was crazy. I've talked about the Temu app and the the growth of that in North America. But listen to this, guys. Their earnings, 98.35% increase year over year on the quarter. Their sales, 116% year over year on the quarter. So they're growing hand over fist, Brendo.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of years. Meanwhile, for BlackBerry, Waterloo Zone, just made a day low there, $2.55. They're going to report tonight after the close. BB, guys, always notable.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that BlackBerry reported tonight. I was joking around with Sharif about something regarding Nortel, but that's the other tech company that failed in Canada. It was like they were gigantic, they were huge, they were the cat's meow and all that kind of weird stuff. And then, yeah, they got absolutely punked. And it's an odd story, but nobody's gonna care about BlackBerry. I was actually gonna talk about Chipotle in a quick second because have we mentioned that yet? I don't think we have. No. 1 to 50. So finally going to be added to the Dow at some point because Chipotle is actually doing a split. Yeah, split by 50, I think. I just jumped out of Intel. It did not hold. Here are the levels I like on Intel. You can kind of see them all. I don't know if we see 45 or 45 and a half. 44 potential breakout. Yesterday's support, you have resistance levels, or 2 days ago, the resistance level. That's what I want to be long in front of. When it can't hold, I'm out. If it makes a move down into this close 2 days ago to 42.5, then I take the next level up. If it can regain this at the open, which is about 43.20, then I'll jump back into it. Pre-market trading, it's actually much more thin than I would have expected. Sometimes you get better. It's good volume, but it's got a 3-cent spread on it right now. Like Intel's not the kind of stock that should be that spready. But as far as Chipotle goes, splits don't matter. Like it just, at the end of the day, like it's the same shares. Like no one actually benefits from it. However, there are some implications with regards to inclusion in something like the Dow or being a little bit more nice on options for people to be able to trade it. So it's getting the bump, 5% on the news of the split. Why is that still Intel? But really, nothing is fundamentally changed here with Chipotle. I thought it would be AVGO, Broadcom would be the next one to split. Turns out Chipotle beat them to it. Great looking chart. Obviously, this is going to make it something that we are more likely to day trade if you're going to split by 50. Like when this becomes a $60 stock. I mean, I can tell you right now, I don't know a single trader ever at Real Trading. Like people have traded Amazon every now and then when it was 2000. I don't know anybody that even touched this stock once because of the spread and just so many other things you can trade. But this will be different when it's a $60 stock. We'll start looking at Chipotle a heck of a lot more.
Yeah, we will. I guess I bought Neil's sale, and we'll say thank you temporarily for that. As we'll just take a quick 5 cents, only on
5 cents.
Yeah, only on a quarter of it. How much did you lose on that one? 5 cents.
Actually, no, 7.
Okay, so I'll make 5. He'll lose 7, but we'll lose 7 too eventually. I think this probably does break through right now. So yeah, you guys know we don't normally take or lose 5 or 7 cents. So let's wait to see if we get back up here.
Well,
I like Intel. Yeah, it's pre-market. I like Intel down here as well. CMG, look, it's about time. And you guys, this is the other thing about NVIDIA. This is going to split, and when it does, it's going to go up 25% that day. So this is another huge advantage here for NVIDIA coming forward. That's something that I wasn't even really thinking about when that happened, right? So when CMG happened, I was like, okay, let me see where this reaction is the very next day. So this stock is up about 7,000% since its IPO. So it's something similar to NVIDIA. It's up 6% on a split, and no one really cares about it. What about when NVIDIA announces that on a random day? So get ready for NVIDIA to probably do something like that, especially if they do dip down a little bit into 800. I could really, really see NVIDIA going into $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 range if we do get a split announcement for NVIDIA. So that is just another bull case there for NVDA. They've just got another benchmark, maintain its price of $1,000 price target there.
It was a bunch of increases for NVIDIA.
$1,000, I mean, it's going to get to 1,000. It's 900 already.
I saw 3 this morning that were moving to 1,000, or at least 2 price targets that were moving to 1,000 on NVIDIA. I guess once it cracks 900 the second time, I guess that's when people do it.
Yeah, we got, speaking about baseball, we got all of our tournament dates set up for this year, so. Lots of days off going to be hitting the calendar pretty soon for us around here. I got to take a bunch of Fridays off, but the good thing is that the podcast hopefully will be filmed throughout the week as we work on a special place to do that, so that I don't have to stay back every Friday and Brendan and I can actually have a life some Friday nights. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk.
I will still not have a life, definitely. So 60-ish, I guess, 59-ish. The single trade, 29.50 right now. So, yeah, that'll be great. Have another stock to have a look at here. CMG, here it is, 50 to 1 on the split. So, opening the door for so many more people to have a look at this thing. It's just unreal. Like 27% in a month here for CMG.
It's nuts. I was just telling you off camera. If you bought 1 share in at the end of October, you'd be up $1,200. And Deutsche Bank also getting in on the action today, raising the price target for Chipotle from 3,100 to 3,300. We were knocking on the door of 3,000 there, Brendo, on the daily. So we'll see what this one does.
I'll keep an eye on Tesla here. There was a little bit of a pop there up to 172.80. Again, more price changes coming through this morning, this time over in China for the Model Y. So we are positive here, but pretty nasty flush yesterday after that nice day the prior, but back upside here for Tesla.
Yeah, and there's more headlines, this time involving Canada. So some issues there with, individuals that used to work for a Canadian battery company that was bought by Tesla in 2019. They were selling some of the designs to the Chinese, and they were caught by undercover police officers there. So yeah, not really market-moving stuff, but something to keep an eye on.
We're going to have to wait a bit for CMG. Guys, looks like they're going to vote on it at a meeting June 6th. So if approved, then at the meeting June 6th, it'll be sometime after that.
I actually didn't realize it was that. I knew it was farther out. That's really far out. But it doesn't matter. In the long game, it's not going to make too much of a difference. On that Tesla note, it was interesting that the way that was framed when I first heard it, it's like Canadian national this, Canadian national that. Okay, so it was a person living in China who was caught selling secrets to China, and it was an unnamed EV company that is probably Tesla and battery secrets. And you got to watch out for that kind of thing. Like, who knows if this is a big deal or a small deal. The actual topic of conversation when I was talking to Sharif this morning and where Nortel even came up, what up, Randy, is that this was allegedly something that happened to Nortel and they lost some trade secrets. And it can be a big deal because that actually ended up hurting them in the long run. What do you think about Tesla? Apparently there was undercover officers caught somebody stealing battery technology and selling it to a Chinese company. It's alleged that it might have been Tesla's secrets that were stolen. We don't know.
What a surprise!
I mean,
I for one am shocked.
Corporate espionage is a thing. I mean, there's a lot of competing battery technology companies out there. You know, it's a hard thing to keep a lid on, but it's very proprietary to some extent. I mean, they've had other companies help get them off the ground, but as they improve their technology over time, other people want to copy that. So it's a bit of an issue.
You still like Rivian? Rivian got a little.
I do. Happy with what they're doing. The Fisker problem, I don't know. Doesn't look so hot. Fisker's going to need a bailout real quick, and if not, I'll buy them. Coffee time?
You can probably afford them. They're like 13 cents now. I'll take one. Thank you very much, Randy. Appreciate you right there. I just looked over. That guy got knocked over. Fisker's, but I looked over. Fisker's up 4.5%, but then you remember.
Yeah, that's like not even a cent.
Yeah, like 4.5.
Not even a third of a cent. Probably.
Like, look at the chart. At this point, yeah, you're gonna, if it doesn't move 15 to 20%, then it's literally done nothing. But you know what, this might be, it's actually a bit of a higher low. It's always worth watching to see if it does one of those Revlon, I guess Revlon did it too. Bed Bath & Beyond's what I was thinking about, and Rev did some squeezing before they eventually went under. So the second it can take out one of these resistance levels, today I guess it would be 15, maybe that's 15 cents today. You never know. You don't want to sleep on it. We saw some weird moves out of Bed Bath & Beyond before eventually things fell apart. So it's not impossible something like that doesn't happen here on Fisker. Off to a rousing start this morning.
Yeah, I bought some Fisker down here, hoping that it eventually does something. Okay, you guys want to talk about, so Reddit is not today, it's tomorrow. Intel, did we just get filled again? Yes, we did. So there we go. So we talked about trying to take a little bit more on this one. We'll just take 11 cents. An amazing 11 cents on Intel so far. So we're only out of 20% of this of our position here. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher for Intel. VWAP's at 41.40. But again, it's going to be the number one idea on the sticky note here, Intel long. So I'm going to hold it until we get stopped out. It's Intel. And I don't have any stop out levels until down here, 42.50, something like that. So we'll wait to see what happens right here. But it is going to be the number one name on the sticky note, and I'm just getting it out right now.
All right, a few other things moving around here so far this morning. We mentioned some of these solar names. I was looking last night, actually, at how much of a disaster these things have been. We talked about SolarEdge when there was an index change the last time and it came out. SEDG downside. There's JKS this morning. Downside as well. I mean, CSNQ, another one. All of these daily charts look the same. JKS way down here this morning, by the way. If you're looking at this chart, we're basically back to a point where it needs to hold some of these levels or it's going to be in big time trouble.
Yeah, Brendo. I mean, it's been a disaster for some of these solar stocks. And I hate to chuckle like this, but I mean, here's the chart on Enphase, guys. And this is November 2022. We're up at $340. We broke below $100 last fall. We're trying to maintain above 100 right now. But I suggest to you guys, it is an interest rate story. I feel that once we start getting cuts, we're going to see fundamental changes in some of the charts on these solar names, Brandon.
We noted late in the day yesterday that there was a little bit of positivity in weed land. ACB up here a penny, I guess, over where it closed yesterday. But 2 days in a row, or 3 days in a row, I should say, decent move back higher for some of these. I saw it pop up on a volume scanner. I mean, you and I were talking yesterday, I guess it was. I was walking down Queen Street on the weekend, and there was a dispensary handing out pre-rolls on the street.
That's what they got to do.
Like, giving it away for free.
Did they ID you? Did they even try to do anything? Oh,
Just,
my goodness.
Here, have a free pre-roll.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's tight. It's tight for them, Brendo. There's a lot of weed stores. They got to push out the black market, which they're having to, you know, kill their margins on. So it's a tough look for them.
Yeah.
Either one of you guys get ID'd, then the person must not be. The person must be high themselves. No, same as for us. I mean, it's 19. Sharif, do you think? Hold on, put Sharif back on the screen. I want to ask him if he thinks he looks 19. Hey, Sharif, do you think?
Don't think that, Sean. I'm just.
Okay.
You don't have to point it out. You know?
All right. Take him off.
It's the law.
All right. So, anyways, that's
Thanks,
what it
Randy,
is.
appreciate
Hey,
it.
Randy, what's up? Hey, Randy looks more like 19 than any of us. All right. Yeah. Look, I don't really know anything about all this because I don't trust the government as far as I can throw them. So especially in the United States, and especially here, actually. But either way, it's a nice bump up in SM and MSOS here. We'll see if it can hold these levels. Obviously, this is a story, and you want to play. And I think I was writing this down yesterday. I think I was actually on. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for all the love on the Market Recap Show. Honestly, the comments, I was looking through there yesterday. The comments that you guys put in the Market Recap Show on the chat, you know, it really means a lot because, like, that's why I'm doing the show is for everybody. We have a lot of fun and we roll out the best guests, and it's really taken off and really been a success. And I want to thank everybody for that. But that just brought me to remember that we talked a little bit about the weed stocks there yesterday. We had Michael Noss on a couple days ago. He gave a couple names that he liked in the space. One was called High Life, I think one was called. So it was a weird one. I'm going to remember to look that one up. But anyways, I was just looking at this $9 mark. Why I said that it's a government story, obviously, and it's going to be a headline story is because you're just waiting for something to pop. And I mean, if you get that movement, then that's fantastic. Yesterday, nice move down, nice move up, basically flat. Like, we're only you know, this is not really a story that we need to be talking about when it looks like this, but at any given time, you could get some, I'm trying to look for a day where it popped up here. Here it was here. I guess March 15th, where we kept on going. Then look, right around here, 2 o'clock, we got some volume. Then we got some volume at the end of the day. So I feel like if you're going to trade some of these weed names, you basically just want to look for volume spikes. So have a scanner up that scans for volume. And then the minute that you start to see Tilray going, we talked about this with Adobe and Obi.
Yes.
Obi will be on.
Adobe?
Obi will be on for the next week and a half as Neil's off tomorrow. But we'll, you know, you want to wait for these bump ups. It's been a nice one. I don't trust this move. If you're long down here, I would probably be selling some of this. These companies can't really make money. There's so much competition. And as Brendan said, even though some of those pre-rolls are probably 50 cents or $1, they're still giving them away. The competition's pretty hard. Tilray, Aurora Cannabis, Tilray bought Afria. There has to be some more consolidation in this space. I think some of the names would work, but that's why I would just trust the ETF.
What's actually crappy now is the short floats aren't even as spicy as they used to be. So like CGC is only like a 6% short float. It's more interesting the fact that the float's only 72 million after the reverse split. So if anything, if it's not squeezing, then it's not worth a trade. If it's somehow, like if this breaks $5, I guess it would go into like possible squeeze zone on their float. But if that doesn't happen, you know, fundamentally, I'm not really interested in looking at that for that reasons. I'm interested in when they are actually going to make like squeeze type moves, and it doesn't get spicy for another 17, 18% on CGC. Let's go to Adara.
Lots of interesting names getting upgrades and downgrades here. Best Buy kicking off the list with an upgrade from Telsey Advisory Group. CarMax getting upgraded by Needham. Riot getting an upgrade from JP Morgan Chase. You can read some more about that in the watch list, but basically saying that Riot is better positioned than some of the other miners for some more upside. So really good look here for RIOT. American Airlines getting an upgrade as well from UBS. Barclays downgrading both Broadcom and TD Bank, though Broadcom actually trading a little bit higher today, up almost 1%. United, another airline here on the list, this one getting a downgrade from UBS. So UBS upgrading American and downgrading United. Grow Generation, last but not least, getting a downgrade here from Oppenheimer, guys.
Union, they bought.
It's interesting. I mean, Riot there is interesting because I feel like we're always talking about Mara because of the way that it trades. And Riot, like, what has that been? Like, look at the consolidation on Riot. It's a 12% short float, and it's a $12. I mean, you could look at the daily, like $12 looks like a breakout price. To me, whether Bitcoin moves or not, this seems like it's the one. Like, if this gets back above here and can take out 12, that looks super spicy on Riot. Memory always serves that Mara usually does the better volume, and that 12 looks really, really good. Mara has this $21 level. I keep drawing this 20 in here. There you go. Hit save this time to make sure it stays. So Mara has this like 20 channel that it can break, and it can get to 21 as well. I don't love the notion. I understand the miners have been going counter to what Bitcoin has been doing at times and been able to, they can rally when you're not getting a big rally, but taking a big breakout, if we're not at least holding tops, maybe pressing higher when I look at IBIT here, like I'd like to see us getting back and busting that 37.5 level, which turned out to be a pretty good support to resistance level at that 37.5 on IBIT. So I'll have my eyes on any kind of, if we see strength in crypto, I think both of these names can go. Just because of an upgrade is not reason enough for me to trade Riot over Mara. Could be wrong about that, but I don't really look at Riot that often. I feel like Mara's always done the better volume and the volatility. So if there's going to be a squeeze or a breakout, I just prefer Mara over Riot, despite that upgrade.
Yeah, we'll look at Coinbase again. We hit Coinbase yesterday. Like I said, it was the #1 name, and we'll look at that again around 233, 235-ish. Crypto's heading to the downside again, breaking through 64,000 down to 63.8 right now. So we'll have a look. I really like IBIT. I recently bought IBIT down here at 60,000, I think it was that one day. So I still only have Intel up. I was putting another bid down there. Yeah, so IBIT, where I'm long is 30. Yeah, see, so that's right. So I'm long 34.03 or something like that, and that coincides with a roughly 60,000. So we're going to be watching out for some of those levels, and I'm trying to keep those levels in my mind. $38 is around 67,000. So as we continue to watch IBIT here, I feel like this is a good name to trade, especially in the crypto space, and here's 34 and change right now. But just watch it. If we see a dramatic move and then it starts to bounce back, we'll head over to the ETF. You can also still trade this name, Ethereum Grayscale Trust, right now. That's been a big one because look at this move down. ETH has been getting smoked right now, and I feel like a smart investor may rotate into this as you drop down into the 50-period moving average when we do have those ETFs coming in the summer. Back over to the desk.
This portion of the show brought to you by our friends over at VinFast. Check them out at the Vancouver International Auto Show 2024. Explore their debut lineup. From the stylish VF6 and VF7 to the luxurious VF8 and VF9, experience cutting-edge technology and unparalleled design tailored for everyday lifestyle. Join their booth number 11, Vancouver Convention Center, March 19th to 24. VinFast, elevating green mobility. Let's get into everything we need to know here to kick things off at 9 o'clock. Sharif's going to lead us with a look at the market.
52, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday at the bell. Overnight high, 52.46, so not much higher. Let's say resistance, that same resistance level we've been talking about literally all month, 50.50. Let's see if we can hold up at that 52.25, guys.
If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely free every single day from us to you. Go to tradertv.live. That pop-up will appear. You enter your email address, and then that shows up every single day. Right in your inbox. There's a lot to discuss. I mean, the bigger story today going to be the Fed coming up this afternoon. We'll get into a few interesting names here this morning. It was Monday, I believe. We were sitting here talking about Intel, top of the list this morning on this government funding. If I zoom out, can you actually see that day? Our data's not loading, but I'm sure somebody can. Gapped up this morning on now they are going to get funding from the Biden administration.
So apparently they've been awarded $8.5 billion and they could see an additional $11 billion in loans. This is all to expand their fabs. They have three main ones that they were looking to expand here. Ohio, Arizona, New Mexico, and Oregon. Ohio's the big one. That's going to be where they build chips for other designers like AMD, etc. So we'll have to see how they do here, Brendo. But they're looking to add substantial amount of jobs to about 20,000 people at some of these locations. So not bad for the economy.
Yeah, a number of positive notes from analysts on this as a result. Was 4%, now back to 2.5% here, guys.
The funding that they didn't get, that was a completely separate thing. That was defense, that was the DOJ and the defense funding possible contract that they could have gotten that was money they were likely to get, and then they said they're pulling it back. It's still possible that could happen in the future, but this particular funding is what everyone was anticipating. So it's good news, but there's nothing about this that's unexpected. You got to keep that in mind. But the stock's going to react to it anyways. Intel, the last few days, it's been more of a dog than anything else, and a short, really. Short off of the 42.5 level. That's why I like that level when it can't hold on. It's kind of consolidating underneath. I look back to the next spot. It was so clean off of 42.5 in here, and then you had a little bit of a late move in the aftermarket to that price, but 42.5 is the next zone down. You had the close 2 days ago, which was like 42.75. So that's the price area that I'm looking for the next available dip in Intel. It's also making, the other reason why the long looks more appealing here is it's got a triple bottom on the daily chart. Like once, twice, thrice off the 41 level. You can even count yesterday. It got really close. It got like 41.60 or something. It's a great short. We shorted it multiple times, but now you're bouncing off of this level on a positive catalyst. I even like his chance of a 44 breakout today. If he gets above 44, I think it could absolutely start flying. Just keep in mind, it is a Fed day today. We're not expecting anything except for the dot plot and then Powell at 2:30. But when you look at key price levels, to a certain extent, they're not going to matter as much. If it's 2:30 and Powell's on the podium, then if you have a resistance level at 44, then I don't really care as much about it at that particular time. You just want to be going with, you don't want to be fighting the momentum, is all I'm getting at. And if he tanks the market just because you like a stock that's long and maybe it was going long into that, doesn't necessarily mean if somehow the Fed tanks the market that you're going to have to hold on to that. So I think a lot of things can change. You don't want to get too wrapped up in your opening and morning trades and then thinking that has to hold true for the rest of the day. So it's a bias that I'm willing to give up if the market says otherwise at 2:30.
I think Intel's might be one of my number one stocks this year, trading-wise P&L for you guys on the show. We're not going to stop that today. So with confidence here, 43 long on Intel. I think you want to test that. And then 42.50 is an absolutely no-brainer level. I mean, anybody can look at that, call that as a long, so that's exactly what we're doing. We're not trying to do anything rocket science here on the sticky note. I feel like it's going to be great trading today. I don't even care about the Fed. We'll deal with that at 2 o'clock when it comes out. It's going to be a nothing burger moment. You'll wait for that dot plot, then you'll see it. I'm not even going to discuss that until 2 o'clock, so we'll wait to see what happens on that time. But for right now, Intel's a long. It has to be. The kind of trader I am is hopefully a good one, and then we look for also catalysts. So that's exactly what we have here on Intel. It's a catalyst. It was a catalyst that sent this name down, and it should be a catalyst that sends this name up. It's the same one. It got hit from here, 46, down to 43.70, then a couple bad days, which they shouldn't have had, but they did, and then right into here. Look how, if you can't see this level right here at 42 or 42.50, then you must be looking at a different stock. So watch out for this. That's a hero long. If you don't have it, I think you're missing out. It's Intel, it's a long, and it's a definitive one.
All right, let's go on to Tesla, trying to bounce off, going all the way back to last summer levels here. Still around 160, 165 came into play. We're back to 172 this morning. Not a huge story, but China, Model Y, is going to get a little bit of a price hike.
Yeah, 5,000 yuan, Brendo. It's about $700, give or take. That's after we already got 2 price increases, one in the United States for $1,000 on the Model Y, and in Europe for 2,000 euros. So looks like Elon may be indicating to us indirectly that demand may be picking up. I mean, you don't increase price unless demand is going up, right?
It's time to see potentially anyways. I mean, he's just continuing to play the same game we saw last year with these price changes. 17.4% here, meanwhile, on the monthly chart, guys.
Tesla, eh?
Tesla had a great comeback off the morning yesterday. It just couldn't get past 173 bucks. So like it was a dip down to 167. It at about 948, like that was basically your bottom. It was all bullish since. Obviously, you can kind of look at this price in here, pre-market lows, 170 and a half, 170 and a half. That's the obvious level, but I have the 173 marked off just for the break. It wasn't the exact top here, but that's 72.84. That's like 72.70 something. You know, and it's obviously been beaten up with some room to go. I think 73 can get you to 75, and if 75 were to break, like it's not a gigantic gap for Tesla, but given how weak it's been, you know, I could see this getting to, if it can break the 75 and the market has enough juice, it can get to an 80. So outside of the 173 break, maybe that dip buy comes in at 170. But it's 60 cents away right now. I think that's pretty playable off of the open.
Yo, what's up to everybody? What's up, Cop SRX1, Hamster, Sebastian? Again, thank you for all the nice words about the recap show. It does mean a lot. Okay, yesterday we wrote down Tesla. Between one. I just looked at the sticky note. We had Tesla written down between 170 and 166 yesterday. And then you know what the bottom was? Exactly when Neil said 168. We couldn't have nailed it any better. But the problem is we started going long 170 and we got out when it broke, I think 169 or so, but then we didn't load it back up there. We just moved off of it. We should have definitely done that. We're gonna try that again today. If this name does somehow dip in, I only want longs today. So on the sticky note, we have long Apple, long PDD, long Intel, long Google, long AMD, add long Tesla to that as well. I'm not going short anything. If this comes into one, I mean, I might go short if the market gives me it, but for right now, I'm not looking short. Right here, 170.50 is a good long, but I actually want to dip this back in. I just put a bid here at 168.50, but now that I see this, maybe 169. I'm going to put it to 169. 169 is where we're going to start the show here today on Tesla. So I like this stock. I like the long. I think it's going to work. It's been really beat up. You can see here off the daily chart. Again, a completely destructed name. It will go back up to the upside here, and I feel like it's finding a base. There doesn't seem to be too many negative catalysts. China's obviously going to be a concern here. But remember, the Cybertruck, we're not hearing too much about it anymore. I still feel like that's going to be something. And then we have that new model coming out very, very soon, I'm hoping for anyways. So that should be all good. I like Tesla. It's the only EV company that I would be investing in, other than Fisker for a crazy run-up that might happen.
NVIDIA, AI Woodstock continuing for day 3 here today. I mean, as far as the chart is concerned, really hasn't been that big of a deal. We did get sell-off day 1 and then right back up yesterday. Bit of a controversial note here this morning. I saw a lot of people referring to this headline with AI nurses, $9 an hour on a cost basis just to run versus, I mean, I know in this city, there's a lot of talk about what's happening in this sector and area of the world, much needed, obviously. But another thing from this conference this week.
Yeah, don't show that to the nurses union, Brendo, because they've been very, very vocal lately trying to get their people raised, justifiably so. But with respect to NVIDIA, they also had a different healthcare headline. Basically, what they were saying is AI is going to be able to simulate the research that's done in the early clinical stages. And so what ends up coming to the third or second stage clinical trials are drugs that are much more likely to succeed. That really removes the curve here, Brendo. It reduces costs and hopefully makes drugs a little bit better.
And I was reading that as well. Time as well was a huge, or potentially anyways, a huge benefactor to that. But we'll see what happens today, guys. Back to 890 here.
Yeah, that 850 level, I don't think we'll get a crack at the 850 level. It seems pretty unlikely again today, but if it does, like this time, gonna have to go long off of it. It's one thing to have the key level. And I sat there looking for the flat bottom break on NVIDIA at that 850. It never broke down, so I never went short. I just didn't go short the stock because of it. if we get there today, a lot has gone, I guess, haywire in the market. I guess suppose it could happen later on in session, so I don't even want to think about it. If we do break the 905, if you can see there's some room into the upside here on NVIDIA. Because Intel's in play, I kind of like that a little bit better. And then, I had to put Oracle on because, and NVIDIA's been a great stock. It will probably find some trades. If it does some flat top setups for breakout trades, I'll be all over them. 905 looks good. But Oracle might break 130 today, and that was pointed out in the afternoon show yesterday by several of the viewers. And when you look at this, it's going to zoom. There it is. It's a triple top. I want to make sure you saw all three peaks. It was a triple top. That's a bad wick, like 127, 128. And then after earnings, it did this. This is right at 8 o'clock in dark pool dumps, and it was just underneath the 130 level. So this it's gotten close to 130, but on an opening, during the open market, the tops are yesterday. Like yesterday's close is the kind of open market high. So you've gapped above that, and I think a 130 break on Oracle is worth a few shots today. Look at the great consolidation off earnings. Did they try to fill the gap? Nope. Did they consolidate and say, hey, we like it up here? And when I say we, I'm talking about the market. Yeah, so I like NVIDIA, and maybe I'll be in a breakout trade if it sets up. But today is the day I'll be looking at Oracle off the jump.
Yeah, Oracle is a big one for us, man. We recently bought that one. We haven't been hitting too many home runs here and buying stuff, but Oracle, we're long like at 107 just before the last earnings report. Not before then, but these levels have been pretty good. I like that break. Thanks for bringing that up. All right, so NVIDIA down here as well. So I'm looking AI Woodstock. Okay, so I can talk about AMD. So I have AMD written down on the list. Yesterday, this was the level that we trusted here, and it broke on us, which was fine, and then we got a little bit of revenge. We made back about 15 or 20% of the hit here that we had trying to short 95 when it broke. It was a problem, and then we re-had this short all the way down, and that one was a failed take of 900, and then we had a nice move. We had a $14 winner at the end of the day yesterday, so that was good, and that's that's part of what you want to do. This is where we got stopped out yesterday. So we got stopped out right there at 8.9. I don't know exactly what the price was. It's probably like 895.50. And then as soon as we got stopped out, the thing dropped down to 888. So that was a great trade, but wrong out, and it cost me the whole day. So we're going to see today if we could do something similar, but not cost us everything. Let's let it settle down. For me, NVIDIA is not a trade until we get to 900, and then we'll see the action over there. The trade that I like, that I haven't written down in a very, very long time, is advanced micro devices. So I actually we've written this down, but we've been going short here. I feel like the last couple weeks, all we've written down is short on advanced micro devices. But right now, again, like Intel, you're into a level here that seems pretty easy, man, this 180. So I feel like we should try the long here. The NASDAQ's kind of fading a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. So I like this. The 50 period's right here at 178. I think we can trust a 180 long. I'm not on the bid yet, though. Not on the bid of AMD yet. So we'll wait to see if it does fall in. We have Apple next. I like that long a little bit better here. So let's watch out for AMD. But ultimately, it's whatever NVIDIA decides to do. So if NVIDIA takes 900, then we can try to trade long. If NVIDIA starts tanking, then we can try to trade short off that 180. So I feel like 180 is a magnet. Let's see if it matters for AMD.
All right, let's go to, hey, Sean. Let's go to Apple, continuing this bounce off 170 back to the upside. CEO Tim Cook in Shanghai visiting. That was kind of cool. Some of the manufacturing and facilities and stores, talking very highly of the manufacturing side of things and how they need the China facilities to meet production goals.
Exactly, and he's continuing to advertise that they're going to continue to invest in China. A lot has been made lately about Apple really looking to rely more on India and to shift some of its production there, friendshoring as it's called. He put some of those concerns to ease. Really, though, I think he's there to address the 24% decline in iPhone sales in the first 6 weeks of this year, because that's huge for them, a big market for China, the second biggest market they've got. So let's see what happens.
We were talking to Danielle Shea back on Monday afternoon. She kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I mean, we're only a few weeks out here from the next go-round of earnings from these. What is it? Thursday, April 25th. We hear from Apple again, so not entirely that far off.
Madera and I were talking.
So, I thought Shreve was just still saying something. Apple, okay, there's too many breakouts this morning, or at least setups for things that could take out tops, like that 173 on Tesla, like Oracle, you could argue NVIDIA at 05s. There's several chip names that actually have that opportunity. Intel would have if it had held a little bit higher. So an Apple is not a stock that I'm ever taking a breakout on. I mean, ever is a bad word. That's not true. It's not one that I'm likely to take a 930 break on. It's not usually that kind of juice. Like Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, NVIDIA, like those stocks will do that for you. So today on Apple, and the reason I didn't include it on the mix is because it's kind of really boring. I mean, $175 at noon was a consolidation level. If you look at what happened right at the end of the day on Monday, $175 was like, kind of like the close and then the pullback. So, 175 is kind of like, it's also a pretty obvious psychological level as well. So if it does dip, that's a good base to go from on Apple. I like the fact that it's catching, it's catching a bit off the October lows. So there's your October lows. And it's been in a pretty steady, stable climb up since. So I'm favoring longs on the stock until it at least gets back to like 80s and the 50-period moving average. And what's hilarious, I just noticed this now. I don't know if we even said this. By the way, like since the death cross on Apple, it has had, I guess technically there's like 2 down days in there. That looks more like a flat day than anything else. But it's been climbing since it had the death cross. Goes to show you how much that means sometimes.
I think the death cross, like we were saying, has predicted, I think, 14 of the last 2 recessions. Okay, so right here, Apple, we'll figure this out here to the downside. We have it written down right here, 175 long. So again, I like it. All we wrote down here when we talked about why we like that level was pretty simple. It's just here. We'll see. It held yesterday. It was the dip buy in for yesterday, and that's what we're going to try to hold today. Here's yesterday's open. Boom. Right down in. Well, I mean, yesterday is right here. So here's the drop in from yesterday. We opened up at 175 yesterday, dropped back in, and then held this 175. I mean, it's 174.50. Okay, but we had a nice move up there for Apple. So if we get dip backs in, I think we buy 175 for sure. And then you could, if you think you're going to be wrong on this and the market really starts to go, you have 174.50 right here that I think you can sort of use as your anchor for that. So I would watch that, and then, can we give it all back? Sure. Is there a negative catalyst for Apple? I don't think so. So I don't see why this name would drop 2%. But again, our ear is always to the ground, and if we hear any sort of thing on Apple or China or anything like that, then we'll get out of the way. But I really like this name. We're long in our swing account a couple weeks, or maybe a week and a bit ago at 169. I like it. I'm going to be getting out around 180 and then regrouping, or maybe not. But right now, I like Apple long against 175.
All right, let's continue along here. I mean, we mentioned PDD to start things off this morning was positive off earnings. We're way up here right now. Tough to see on this chart, but it's actually way up here, right back to the top end of the range. That's still the Apple note. But earnings beat across the board. Looks good for PDD.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the top of the show, guys. This is a really big beat here. Look. Earnings, the actual profit up 98.33% year over year. The actual revenue, their sales numbers, $12.5 billion they printed. That's a 116% year over year increase. Not really surprised looking at this. Look at the chart, guys. It is one of the most outperforming Chinese ADRs of 2023.
A few mentions coming across here right now again about Intel. Just be aware of that. You and I were just talking about this one. Netflix positive again. There's nothing to talk about here, but just goes up for Netflix.
That's kind of random. PDD to Netflix? No, I don't mind it. I like Netflix. I can't say a bad word about them. But Pinduoduo, it already made the break. So you'll get gap ups like this on Chinese ADRs often, with the caveat that I don't have statistics on it. But anecdotally, almost every single time we look at a really large gap, you tend to see selling, at the open. But 147 was the kind of like the local breakout that gets you to that 52-week top there at 153. You're in the middle of no man's land right now on Pinduoduo between those two levels. So there would be like your 47 area. I'd almost call that on a dip, it's showing you 46 more so than that. And even if it dipped further, 140 was the next significant level on the daily. So those are all in play for Pinduoduo. 143 is the big top. And we've seen this stock do over 20% before, so the notion that it can't go higher, I think is, you just got to understand how volatile it is. That said, it's already made the breakout that I would have liked, so I have to be patient waiting for some kind of a dip buy. And 53 would require a $5 move off the open for it to make that kind of a press. So that's a little bit much to take a breakout at 9:30 at 153. So I got to patiently look for the dip buy on PDD. But it is worth watching some sympathy plays. It's only 9:20 right now. I haven't looked at the imbalances just yet, but Alibaba, usually I feel like if Pinduoduo was up that much, Baba wouldn't be flat. So I'm a little bit surprised by it. But what Baba's doing is consolidating off this 50-period moving average on the daily. And if PDD presses, and let's say you miss that and it goes like Rip City, Baba 74 is right there. I would have expected we'd have taken that out on sympathy. The fact that it's still available is a bit of a surprise, given that PDD's up so much.
Look, we wrote down on PDD, it's pretty simple trade. It's the 153.50 break. It's the 52-week high is 152. 152.99. We have it right. This is SoFi, man. SoFi is the POS. All right, so here's PDD right here. You can see this is the high, 152.99. I see a little wick in there into 153.50, so that's actually what I'm going to take. I'm taking that long break, 153.50 or so on PDD. I mean, honestly, I hate investing in all these Chinese companies. The only one I'm in is Baba. Wish we were in PDD. Great report, great numbers. To the moon goes PDD, and I think you take the break long at 153.50. I don't think you complicate it. My trade's already in, so that's what it's going to be, 153.50 break. If it doesn't happen, then I'm not in PDD today.
Oh, shoot.
That it?
We're done. You know what? Let's go to Boeing, because Boeing has a huge level. Boeing's on the watch list. I didn't realize we were done. It's only 9:21. Usually we don't get right through the watch list. Well, it's only the rundown. On the watch list, Boeing, look, their burn rate, the CEO basically said their burn rate is going to be a little bit higher than expected. Their cash burn, that is, not something else. That would be really bad too. And they're going to keep production at a lower level. So the hits keep on coming. You're down 1.74%. The good news for Boeing is the October low. Now, because there was light volume, this candle wick, it did, like this morning, there is this like dark pool dump. So that's what you're going to see on the wick. You've actually held 176 this morning on Boeing. So I know it looks like it tested underneath and got to 175, but it's held that October low for now. So I think if 175 holds, you've got an enticing long opportunity today. Underneath 175, don't fight it, flat bottom break and all that good stuff. But the mistake I made yesterday on NVIDIA was looking at a level like that and only wanting to go into the short instead of just respecting the support that was in there. So Boeing, while a little further on the list, it's certainly a valid one. One of the only few things that is opening up pretty bearish here. But yeah, you were waiting around for this October low. Like, look at how good the flat bottom break was on Boeing through that 200 area. And you kind of know when a stock does this, decent chance you're going to fill that gap in. And today could be the day we get the bounce off the October low. Brendan?
Somewhat AI related here this morning, guys. This is not one that I've ever mentioned, but worth a note. Equinix, which is a data center operator, so EQIX is the ticker here. It's down here this morning. Hindenburg out with a short note on this data center operator. So EQIX down big time. What's coming up today?
All right, we're talking about pullbacks all week, guys. How to trade a pullback today. We're talking specifically about the measured move pullback. So all my Fibonacci enthusiasts join Adara today and I on how to trade at 11.
Fibonacci.
Chef Joe and I are now connected on Twitter. So shout out to you, Chef Joe, as we go back and forth over there. What's good, my guy? I didn't realize, well, I mean, I realize you're a Tesla guy, but you really like Tesla. All right, shout out to Chef Joe. All right, so another name that I'm looking at here is going to be Google down here into 144. I said this is a dream fill if we can get it. So we'll look to do that. I mean, you know, we're here to trade. Like, we're here to make money, not just to like, get in and out of stock. Like, you need to make predictions on levels that could possibly hold so that you can make some plays. That's how money's made. So if we can get down to 144, let's try to be patient. I don't need to battle with it in here. I'm thinking 146 could hold. So that's $1. So that would be something that I would probably try, pending on where the market is. But I just put this down here for an amazing opportunity. If Google does come in, we're red here today. If the market somehow falls in, and we talk a little bit about the market here again. And I mean, if this falls into 18.2 again, or some levels where I think we can get supported. Like, I don't think we break 18 today unless that dot plot is way off of what people think, like potentially like no rate hikes at all, or decreases into the end of the year. Maybe then we get down into these levels. But for right now, I really like Google here at 144. I'm gonna go get some water before we open up here. 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, 5 minutes to go. We'll get some imbalance data in a couple of minutes. Not expecting anything crazy here. Just a couple of things that we haven't talked about. You've got Meta gapping up. And what's notable about Meta here should be obvious. The way that it rebounded yesterday, if you can't tell when people like a stock, when it dips like that and then the buying is this constant, it was just an absolute rocket ship. Sometimes the best thing is to get out of the way. I remember I was looking at Meta for like a curl back underneath here and took out at VWAP. Got all of it out at VWAP. I was holding for a bigger move and got it all at VWAP, and then you see like the stock ramp up. Sometimes you've just got to be able to get out of the way. Just try to remember, the thing that you like the best or you're most convicted on, I've been trading a long time, is often going to be the thing that if it's telling you that that's not true, it's the hardest for you to get away from, because it's the idea that you like the most and it can end up the most pain. And when a stock does that kind of a reversal, if you can find your way away from it when the initial short's so good, you can save yourself a lot of coin. I mean, Meta 503 even looks pretty solid here, but you can't have every single breakout this morning. That's kind of the thing. You can like longs. I mean, NVIDIA sort of setting up that it could go 900 and then 905 goes, and it's got a lot of room to the upside. There's just so much out there that's going to give you the opportunity. Tesla is very close to the 173 level as well. So you're getting some strong moves after what was, I'd say, an impressive reversal in yesterday's trade. Like, it was a bearish looking morning that turned into reversals abound. And when that happens, it's easy to have a lot of long ideas and really not many shorts. The only short idea I have is a level that's probably, it might not even break. And I want to be long in front of that Boeing level to be sure. And then just a couple of other things. I know we haven't talked too much about, Reddit's the IPO, the big one, but there is Astera Lab, which you never know the timing of this, and there's not really going to be anything here. But it is in our platform. You can see it's like halted. I believe they're coming at 36. And it's going to be a relatively small float. I just want to double check some numbers for you on Astera. Where is it? Where are you, Astera? Yeah, it's like 13% of the float is going public on that one. And 700 million offering. It's oversubscribed as well. They're a cloud AI company, which if you can't tell, cloud AI, yeah, they're saying the right thing. So everyone's going to be looking to Reddit tomorrow. I feel as if Astera Labs could catch a lot of people off guard. Don't expect this sucker to open up 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You never really know with these things. I never know when they're going to open them up. I think it's kind of annoying that they can't get these things figured out and just open them up in a timely manner. But my eyeballs are on that. I'm not 100% taking the opening print, but there's a decent chance. Like, I might put a little something in there just to get that opening fill. Once it opens, if I see any support on the bid, I'll be all over it. I wanted to talk some Amazon just to get another Mag 7 name in there. Again, there were too many potential breakouts to simply say, hey, I like this break, I like that break. 176.5. My plan for Amazon today is if it's holding bids above that price, I don't think it'll be on my list for a breakout here. I'll be in other things if this happens. So if it does hold a bit above, I just want to be playing a trend. I think there's a lot of potential here for Amazon. Another decent gap to be filled, $2, $3 higher. But I'll put that one on the wayside after some of our other plays. It's 9:28, so we should have some imbalance data. Again, not really expecting anything too crazy this morning. NEO is the biggest imbalance, and it's a sell. 770,000. Fisker's a penny stock, so 380,000 on Fisker is nothing. And then you got XPeng down there. So the early look, sort of the imbalances this morning, pretty much a nothing burger unless you're into selling NEO.
We're into buying Intel on dips, so we'll put a little bit of money into our pocket right now on that one. But who knows, man? It's still super early. Like, we just bought that dip. We got some out at 14s and then some out at 04s, and our last long is here at 90. So it's just in right now. With only a few seconds left, we do have that imbalance coming through off open, so 9:29:24 right now. So 36 seconds before we open up, and not much is really happening. I mean, I'm looking at, I still have Apple bids out. I'm watching to see what happens with NVIDIA here straight off the open. I mean, there's going to be some aggressive movements there. And then AMD down at 180. Is obviously a level that we've talked about, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on all of these names until we open up, okay? So we'll wait on that, and then Tesla's starting to go already up to 173. Watch out for a potential 170-ish bid on Tesla.
As we go, it is hump day, Fed day. Let's get it going, Adair, in 3, 2, 1, ring it.
All right, here we go. Let's go. All right, so get some of those stop orders in and see what happens here in this market. Our first trade of the day is, of course, going to be on Intel, and we'll wait to see what happens here. A nice little flush in for INTC. So where are we sitting? Are we sitting on this bid or what, baby? All right, let's buy some right there and make sure that we don't get too long, as it is falling down a little bit here for Intel. So we'll still wait for it. Down here to 42.70. Nice flush early on INTC, and there it goes, flushing back in. We talked about 42.50 and how much we like that level. So let's see if it does fill us up down there. 42.50 for Intel is kind of the target area that I'm looking for right now.
So Oracle has broken the top. Oracle, of course, being a New York stock, Neil, I always get that one wrong. Oracle broke 130. Remember, this is like a triple top upside on the daily chart. It just got the $0.50, and let's see how far it can go. I got Intel 73s there. Okay, so Oracle with the breakout. However, Tesla also failed to break right away. So break doesn't work right away in Tesla. It got as high as 173.25, but I'm not taking 25 cents on Tesla. I'll need to see it hold a bit above that price. So we're quickly in and out there. Intel's the one that, you know, we thought there might be a bit of a sell-off, so we got out and we lined up in front of the 42.50 level. So we'll play off of that. Google's already going. See, there were a lot of breakout setups, but you can't have them all. Apple actually to the downside.
Really?
Okay, no, you know what? I looked at Google and I just assumed Apple broke, and it didn't. NVIDIA above 900, tracking towards that 905 level as well. So it looks like, I mean, NVIDIA, okay, now it's back under 900. Okay, we'll keep our eye on this bad boy. I mean, obviously 905 was yesterday's top. If it can get through that, I think it could get very spicy for NVIDIA. But it's having some trouble here at the $900 level, it looks like.
All right, so here we go. Intel is falling back in a little bit here, obviously, so we'll have to wait to see what happens here, as we have a very big position. So let's hope it doesn't fall down too much here for Intel, as we said. And if we lose on it, we lose on it. We'll figure that out. 42.50 coming in for Intel. All right, so Google. Let's go over here to Google to see what's happening there. So that's, wow, good job on Google, man. Spend that money, man. We really like that. We really like that name. That's a big name for me. All right, Roblox right now, moving around. Okay, Roblox to the downside. So I have not rebought anything here on Roblox. Nah, yeah, we're not flossing anything yet. We got to wait for Intel to go first before we start to floss anything. All right, so Roblox making the move down again here today. We still didn't even look up why they were down, besides, I guess, not very good company.
I saw nothing.
But in here, we're going to always look to see if we can buy something on the 200 period moving average, and we just broke that. So I don't think we buy Roblox until we get above $37 here, especially in our longer term accounts. We did have some bad misses on earnings, right? And so daily active users are always going to be key for them. We'll wait to see if those metrics pop through again. They're not releasing them monthly like they said they were doing before, so that's going to be a no-go right there. NVIDIA just broke up to 905 and then right back down again. So it's that same short that we had yesterday that we should have had today. We took $14 on this short yesterday. Should have had it there today, my bad. Instead, we sit in this stupid Intel.
Yeah, Intel's trying to stabilize right now. Oracle pulled back off the 130.5, right into the pre-market low. The close was at 129.19, and it dipped to 129.25. So like it went so close to red where my stop was, and sometimes it missed by like 5 cents. It goes another 5 cents, and I would have gotten stop back out. Instead, we'll reload it. While we're getting that and getting Intel, yep, guess what broke the second time? Tesla broke 173 a second time. The second time was the charm. If it picks me back up, We wanted this one above that price. I'm going to try to jump back in here on the first available dip over there. You're getting a little bit of a bounce on Intel, but it can't seem to hold above 42.77, 78 in there. It's trying to punch into the 80s and not doing a very good job of it. We said we'd look at some Meta, potentially 500. Wow, Meta went to 499.
Wow, AMD.
No, that's 500 on a dime. The opening wick is literally 500 on Meta. That is way too obvious not to take a 500 break, I think, if it gets there again.
So I have like way more shares on Intel than, and it's not really moving around as good as we thought. So I'm wondering about just dumping this straight up now on Intel. So let's just wait to see if it doesn't. We just got Apple, by the way. If Intel doesn't hold right here, then we're gonna have to get out because we don't need to make a huge mess of this trade again here today. So hey, look, man, we've made a lot of money on Intel. We'll wait to see if it does fall back in right now for INTC. And yeah, so it's right here right now. So let's wait to see if Intel gets any lower than where we are right now. Our average price is 42.80, but again, we have infinite amount of shares on this one. All right, right here, Apple 175.26. Right now, that's where we're long, and here we go. Now Intel, I'm long at 78. Let's take some pressure off here if we get back into the 60s, because honestly, this name does not look like it wants to do anything but go southbound right now for INTC. So yeah, I guess, like we always say, man, if you're not operating well, it doesn't matter how much free money you get from the government. Intel goes to the downside. Now, damn it, Intel, you tricked me, you got me. Let's see what Adara has to say.
Massive move to the upside here on very strong volume for TGL Treasure Global. No news on this one. They do have a float of about 715,000 shares. It also does look like they did a reverse split recently. So some things to keep in mind with regards to TGL, guys, very much to the upside.
Wherever.
Yep. Yep. You got to wait for that.
TGL. It was something else I wanted to get to, now I've lost train of thought. Oh, Tesla's pulling back in. So I like that 173 on Tesla. We'll deal with that one as it's, give me a break. I'm sitting at 22s because that's kind of where I always put the bid. There we go. All right, I just got filled on Tesla on the way back. So if it holds 173, that's where we wanted the long in front of. I'm going to give it to this. It could wick underneath to the 20s, but I'm going to give it to the $0.50 there on Tesla. I did not put an order in on Meta, partly because I'm going to get into Tesla, and I thought NVIDIA, okay, never mind. Let me just cancel NVIDIA there. That's clearly not happening, as that's actually pulling back in. Wow, Meta pulling back in as well. Things start getting, we just wicked the high and starting to get a little bit bearish, which leads me over to some of the crypto names. Like, why does Mara have to be at $20 right now? Mara's at resistance. The high 2 days ago was $20.10. So if it breaks that, I think it can go squeezing. But I'm looking up at IBIT, and that's actually pulling back a little bit. So I said if IBIT was weak, I'd be shorting this level on Mara.
All right, here comes 42.50. We were able to get some out there, of course, as we bumped up. We talked about that. We got some out in the mid-60s right now. And shout out to you, Kevin Mendoza. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to trade with bigger shares. We talked about that yesterday as we took that big hit on NVIDIA. But I don't have a problem telling you guys that. We like these share sizes. And for me, like I said, it's the way that people... I mean, it's why traders make money. So yeah, once you have some confidence, and we have confidence right now, we're going to watch out for Intel, but it looks like not too much confidence in this trade as it's trying to break 50 and it's going to do it right now. Intel's really been hot garbage all day here. So let's take a piece out now. I wanted to try to hold a little bit, but this is just starting to become a disaster. Not necessarily like we got some out, so we've done well to sort of rethink this trade, and it's not going to be that big hit for us. And in fact, we're going to go 1 for 2 and take some nice money, basically same shares. Obviously, it's a $175 stock, so a little bit less, but there goes Apple with a nice move back up to the upside. So licking our wounds a little bit here with Intel, but we'll go 1 for 2 on the day. That's what you really want to do. Make sure that you got at least something cooking, and if you don't, that's fine. I mean, it's 9:38 right now. We're going to wait and be as patient as we can with a lot of these trades, right? We're still in Intel. We could still win on that. We're out of half on that break of 50. My bad on that one. We were confident with it, which is fine. I want to be confident. 147 coming in for Google now. We're going to pass on that. We talked about either a 145 or 144, so that's a hard pass for your boy right now. And then we got out of 40% of Apple right there. So we're trying to hold to see if we do get a big move. But I'm just wondering, like we just got those out at 50, then it just drops back to 25. We know that the only thing that's of any concern today is the dot plot. So, you know, the market's just going to move the way it is. It's a nice move down. I think you could still buy strength in names that you like. But you know what, Neil? Did you see PDD? That name cracked way lower. So
yeah, it's that dip. It's at the 140 level, and I'm like, well, am I going to dip by something else that's tanking? We already tried Tesla. I was able to. Tesla bounced. I got a fill for the first 50 cents of the move, and trust me, within seconds, it was like 50 cents underneath. So we made 50, lost 50. So that trade, that trade's flat, but the first trade, remember, we lost on the first trade of Tesla. So, you know, we'll be down on Tesla. Mara's starting to go down, but PDD, like we thought this could dip back in. And this was the level, if it showed a bid at 140, that I wanted to take. Now, obviously, Intel might not hold on to the closing range it had. I waited till it made a second move down, but it's still not bouncing off that level. PDD gets back up through 140. I'm looking to be long that. But Mara was literally the only thing short today. Like, I had no short ideas. I mean, I guess Boeing could have broken 175. Technically, that's a short idea. But last I checked, Boeing's at $181. So that was never going to come in. So Mara at the 20 level, it's already down at 50s. See this? This was yesterday's key price, 1925. If it gets to 1925, I'm going to get out. So oddly enough, come in today thinking a lot of longs, and they're just dogs. Intel continues to flush. I just took the L on it. At the end of the day, you shouldn't mind if the idea that you like the most is a losing trade, but you'll always ask, how could you have executed better? There was a wick bottom here on Oracle. If I get wicked out and I like the long above that price, I mean, I'm just going to jump right back in. So there's the bottom wick. It ends up holding that area, so we jump back in a little bit further from where we were, maybe like 10 to 15 cents. But yeah, the NASDAQ just seriously reversed off of the highs. This is 18.33, and look at that pullback. On a Fed day, I'm usually thinking inside day till we get to 2 o'clock. That would mean something like 18.22, like this kind of a level holding up. So Oracle's bouncing back, but it's a story of failed breaks, at least so far this morning. And if you're watching out for Bitcoin, it bounced, or IBIT just bounced pretty clean off support. Might have to get out tomorrow.
All right, so yeah, not going to be a green day today yet for us, but we'll wait for Apple. So we've been buying Apple down here at 175, so that's going to be hopefully a nice move back up to the upside right now, but we'll wait for it. We're waiting in the 30s again to get something out. We're long at 25, so it's just a small little trade right now for Apple. We're going to wait to see 42 for Intel, see if that can come in right now, and then we'll look to buy. I'm going to put the bid right now down there into the teens for Intel. We did just buy some here at 40. Let's see if it gets back going. I mean, we could still put some damage on the board here today, like big time. If Intel gets back upside, this is the advantage, again, guys, of putting on shares. It hurts you when you're wrong, but then if you're right and it goes, then that's when you make those days, right? We talked about that. Okay, so here we go. 175.30. Did we get that, Phil? No, we did not. Apple tried to go and then stopped. I have to look short now. You're under the 50 period. You're under VWAP. We came in here very bullish. I mean, we made sure that was a bull. We only have bullish ideas written down on here. Obviously, our PDD write down was to see if I can cancel that trade, I guess. That if the momentum was right, then we could get that long. But right now, it's a downside move for PDD, so probably affecting Alibaba. Not really, actually. Wow, I wanted Alibaba. Yeah, SoFi is a hot garbage.
No, I was gonna say if your stop order's still out when you try to put that other one in.
Yeah. Make sure we should not be making mistakes anymore like that. Me and Neil have learned our lessons a couple times, but still happens. All right, so Alibaba down here, I still like 72. So my bad. I thought we were at 73, but we were at 74.20. So a nice pullback here at Alibaba. I would take PDD weakness. If that hits Alibaba and we get anything into some of these levels like 72.50 or something there, I like Alibaba down there at 72.50. So if it keeps getting clocked, we'll buy that, but we're still well away on that one.
So bad you can't just, I mean, realistically.
What's Disney doing?
CMG was probably, it's a $3,000 stock, but that was probably the easiest long of this morning at the open. It is what it is, but PDD's move has gotten a little, I mean, you're back above $3,000 on CMG. It was down to like 29.40 40. This is a monster pullback in PDD. Like this is now approaching 10% down. Remember, this was almost double digits. So when there's no break, the good thing about a breakout, you don't have to take it. But I'm looking for a turn play. And when something does this, VWAP is now $7 away. So if you can find a base, 135 looks about as good as anything else. I'm going to get to Oracle in a second because that just, I got to fill back up at 130 on the dip buy, and it's right back in at that bottom. So even Oracle, which looks strong, good initial breakout, held that dip. I did get that stop out. We reloaded. It's right back at the lows, man. So I came in bullish today, and even the stock that I thought was like the really, really good long breakout setup is having trouble holding on to it. So Oracle, I might reload that third time, but if 135 holds, I'm taking a shot in pin duo here. I'm surprised Baba's not falling that much, to be honest with you. Baba is holding up rather nicely, I would say.
Yeah, we like
Compared to
Alibaba.
this.
We really like Alibaba. Okay, here we go, man. There it is. So we're going to put some more damage on the board here with Apple. So we'll see where it goes now, man. We're just long at 25. We talked about getting some out here in the mid-30s. We actually got a 37 there as well. So if this flies, then we're good. We're golden. But we need that to happen first. So we'll wait to see if that does happen there for Apple. Any other names flying around you guys want me to look at? I have Google. Oh, someone just mentioned that AMD broke that 80 level that I was talking about. It's right there right now. The problem is I'm sort of caught long on some names here, and I would short this for sure, but I just feel like the volume right now is so high in some of these names. Like NVIDIA, there's always going to be missed trades, but like we had this trade yesterday for $14 off 905. It's $14. It's $18 now in the money. So like we missed that trade, and that's going to hurt a little bit in my opinion because we should have had it. And then right now you're bouncing off this level that we got out at near yesterday, 888. Remember? So watch out for 888 coming through one more time. All right, come on Intel. Let's get back to the upside here. We will take something out in the mid 40s. Like I said, this is all part of it, man. Like when I say I only have 10% left or something like that, if we have more shares, then you can still make money on that. But we are taking hits right now on Intel as it's been really not acting the way we thought. And if we're going to make predictions, you can miss on them, and that's fine. It's just let's get out of it. Let's sort of lick these wounds a little bit here, and that way when it starts to moon like it hopefully does, we can spin a whole bunch of money signs because we'll have Apple hopefully going back up to the upside if the market rebounds, and we'll have Intel. But Intel is a hot garbage stock, and today it's proving that. So we'll wait to see what happens with Intel. If you give, what is it? It could be up to $30 billion. I feel like it should be up more than this. Let's see if it gets going. Just hit early. Let's have some faith here in Intel.
It just made the first green candle is forming on Intel. So I got back in at that bottom. 42 and a quarter. It actually just held. It needs to get into VWAP. Pinduoduo is trying its best to make a bit of a curl here at that 135. You can see it try to slow down, but I did this at 140 and then continued down. But we're $7 from VWAP, so I'm going to take some shots at that. Oracle's holding on to the bid at 129, but I can tell you, Mara did. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! What happens when you get bullish is you can sometimes be a little bit too quick on the trigger and get out of what is a pretty good short. So Mara dips the 20 level and then goes right into that 1930. Now, obviously, I have a line drawn for a reason. I thought that was a big support level for Mara, 19 and a quarter, and it just chewed through that like a hot knife through butter. And Bitcoin did literally nothing. Bitcoin's literally not moving, and Mara is tanking and falling like an absolute rock. So should have held on to that short, no question about it, but we got out. A win's a win, but with the market moving down like this, probably should have hung on to that one. NVIDIA, because it feels like we haven't even looked at this stock today, it's now at $885. So the afternoon bottom was $880 on NVIDIA. Maybe I jinxed it. Maybe we will see that 850 level today. That would be poetic justice.
Yeah, maybe we do. That'd be nice. Okay, so here we go. We just take another out here on Intel at 50 for flat. Now we can start to climb. So let's go right now and see if we can get Intel back to the promised land right now and actually make some money on this name. So Intel, we're off for a little bit here at 55, and then we'll see if we can get back into the 70s and 80s. VWAP is right here at 75, so we definitely want to make sure that we get something going on right now. And before we go to Adara, maybe it's this story, DWAC up 16%, I heard. Yeah, there it is. Nice little pop up on DWAC. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, I was actually just going to talk about the pop on DWAC. I'm not seeing any news for this move up for Digital World acquisitions. Volume is below 1 million, but it is increasing here. A little bit of talk on social media. Nothing to explain this move, though I will let you guys know if I see anything. But DWAC continuing to get strong, now up almost 18%, guys.
It did this yesterday, and we said there was no news. It was just basically like, I don't know, it was a Trump headline, but it was pretty much nothing. I think it's a nothing burger. 135 does not hold on Pinduodual, so we'll put the fail in on that one.
Ouch, man.
I see $7 to the upside there, and I'm going to take that shot on PDD. Like, PDD is probably it's my second favorite in terms of these names. But Intel just reversed hard off of 42.50. This thing just continues to show weakness. At the end of the day, like, it's fine to get in at the bottom, but if it can't even retrace back into VWAP, it's looking like an absolute dog. We do have a few names we haven't got to. I understand, like, you're not gonna be able to cover everything. You're trading live. It is what it is. I understand. I can see like Nicola's making a move, and I said Fisker might have a chance through 15. Maybe not. Fisker wicked that 15-cent level, is now down at 12.5. That's what happens if you're not thinking. Sometimes you're not thinking short. I've shorted Fisker pops the last couple of days and don't have this. Wow. Okay, Fisker. I guess it's going to be another one of those days for FSR.
I guess it's going to be one of these
days. If it goes to 10 cents, it's worth a shot. Yeah,
I think you had to take a shot there on Fisker. Look at Apple right now. Let's go, baby. Here we go, man. And this is what we're talking about. You got to make plays. And we're going to go 1 for 2 so far. Apple is really starting to go. I mean, we liked Apple just as much as we liked Intel. They're both on here. We have more shares in Intel, of course. It's a $42 name. But Apple's starting to go finally back up to the upside. We will net lose more on our boy Intel there. But there's Apple starting to go up to the upside right now. So really confident about this trade. We put the shares on, and we actually were trying to buy more down there, but we did not get that opportunity. So we'll wait to see if we can get that back in. We still have a lot of faith on Intel, but we did get those out, some of them out at 50 and maybe 52 there on Intel. 50s was our best fill as I look at the trade list. So that was that. Yeah, tough trade there on PDD, as I said. I like the trade. No, but just tough.
The last time I traded PDD, I took one shot at it, and it was twice as good. But that was a breakout trade, not a breakdown. So the thing about, and I've said this before, you want to put things into categories. Like a dip buy is different from a breakout trade. And I said that with NVIDIA, like I try not to look at my breakout trades as the same as I look at other trades in NVIDIA, because the breakouts have been absolute gold. Dip buys are different. That said, this is the first time it's actually shown a green candle. So it's actually showing some strength in here. I'm not using any more. I'm basically getting in the same lot every single time. So it's going to have to get to like 39s and 40s for it to be any good. But this is one I knew I wanted to be trading it today because today was the day. Let's go to Adara.
This part of the show brought to you by VinFast. Experience the evolution of electric vehicles with VinFast at the Vancouver International Auto Show 2024. See our diverse range of EVs embodying innovation and luxury. Don't miss out on test driving the VF8, a blend of performance and enhanced technology. Visit us at booth number 11, Vancouver Convention Center, from March 19th to March 24th. VinFast, your future of smart mobility.
If there was any booth I'd go to, it would be booth number 11. That is 100% sure. Check out those VinFast, and then we can hear, where's Sharif at? I just heard his chuckle somewhere. Where is that guy at? Oh, there he is. I was going to say that hopefully the doors are open and he can go into the
Of course
VinFast
you can
there.
go inside that
and
one.
He won't be all pissed off about the Cybertruck. Damn you, Elon. Okay,
Hey,
this is why we,
DraftKings right now.
DraftKings is a good one, but you know what's the best one right now? There might not be many winners today at all. But for Apple, this is one right here as we continue to watch out for this one. I've only been on 2 names, and I say that because I'm trying to look for more winners and trying to find names that are, okay, here we go. So Google's at a nice little level. I was not expecting that move early, but the move back into 147, remember? So, it didn't hit the levels that we thought about, but it is hitting some levels now, and that's Google down here at 147. I feel like this is a buy. So let's just buy some. Let's just punch right in there, take some 21s, 22s, and then see if we can hold this 147 dip. I mean, we don't necessarily want to be long too much right now because we're at the low of the day. But if we do rally back a little bit, we've seen these sort of moves happen and then the rally back into VWAP. But we don't want to be stuck underneath VWAP all day, underneath the 50 period, and all we're doing is looking for longs. Big time recipe for disaster. But we're long Google now. We're long Apple. The problem with Apple is we only have a third left. And then we are still in Intel. And we're waiting for this one to moon, man. I mean, if this goes, then we'll really be singing today. But for right now, brand new position. So we'll hit the sirens for new position, and it is Google.
Yeah, now you're starting to see PDD go. Yeah, it's back up at 37s. I'm looking 40. This is, let's go to my daily chart right here. There's the 40 level. It is pretty significant. It also happens to be VWAP out in front of VWAP as well. So I want to respect that. You're getting a curl here in Mara. So if we're going to get a chance to short the pop again, that one was a drop of a clean dollar change. I only captured to this level, but it did drop from 20 to 19. Now VWAP is sitting at 19.5. I like the symmetry there. If it starts curling at 19.5, it just makes a heck of a lot of sense to me to short it. So PDD is starting to go. Intel's trying to make its bounce, and NVIDIA,
let's go.
Eyeballs NVIDIA is not getting to that 880. Let's be patient with NVIDIA. It's not really setting up much of anything just yet. But you just got to know where to look. There's only really been one short, I think, so far. Looking at another here if we can fail VWAP on MARA. I haven't looked at Coinbase yet, though.
All right, guys, right away, Google goes to P&L number 1. And we put this on 2 seconds ago, so let's go Google. Nice move to the upside right now for Google. It's actually working. I'm up more on Google right now than I am on Apple. So a nice move there for Google as it starts to go back up to the upside. We knew we wanted the long in this name. That's all that really matters. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately, we had the patience enough to wait for that and then just go over to our sticky note and say, what name is of interest to us on this note? And, Google fell back in. And then honestly, I'm just trying to take some profit out. This is moving way more than we thought. We're already out of half of Google. It's a 35-cent winner and trying to go higher here. So can't say this for everybody, obviously, but we have Apple. We're going to be green here right now, despite using, like I said, bigger shares there on Intel. We're not green on Intel, but that's what happens when you stick to the plan, Stan, and you get some trades on that you like. If you pussyfoot around and only put on some baby shares and then it starts to run around, that's great for you. You could have big winners, especially in this moment. But I feel like at sometimes when levels come in, you need to try them. And I mean, what else did we write down for Apple right here on the sticky note? We wrote down Apple 175. So, I mean, Apple fell into 175. We took the damn long. Honestly, what else am I supposed to do? I've sat here and kicked myself many times for saying oh, wow, we wrote down Apple 175, but it went down there. We only put on 100 shares. 100 shares might be a lot for some people, but, it's not. You got to figure that out for yourself. Figure out your risk, figure out your parameters. You don't ever want to have huge hits, but at the same time, huge hits, and this is what happened to me yesterday on NVIDIA. When stuff is planned, then that's fine. I'm completely fine with losing on trades when they break key levels. If Apple broke 175, we would have got hit. But we wouldn't have got hit while we're up right now. So you got to watch out for those kind of plays. Make sure you're strong with what you're doing and be confident. So right there on Google, we put on some shares there. We did the work down there at 147. We saw the out down here and we took it. And now we're 40. Well, we were just 40 cents in the money. We did take another piece out. We told you that we were out of half. We got one more piece out. So we're out of 60% right now of Google. So we're playing with house money, but watch out for a break. I mean, if this market turns around, I'll probably reload it down here at 147. But at the end of the day, we do have the pre-market bottom here of 90. Not much volume at all in the pre-market here. So if we slip up through 147, we're going to have to dump this. Not a huge trade here for Google. We only have 40% left, but we are going to reload this closer to 147 using this as our out. 90s.
So I'm thinking no reload on PDD, even though it's right back at that 35 level. I'm going to go no reload. If it holds, it holds. If it can't, that's way too weak. Far too weak. Way too weak is probably okay language, but I don't like the way that it's trading. I feel like a bounce like that, like if you tank $15 and then you find a base like that at 135, a stronger stock is usually going to rubber band it to at least 38, 39, something along those lines. Intel's starting to run out of steam as well. It's gone to 42.50 a couple times, but you've been pulling back. And it's just entirely too weak. And you got to be able to accept the fact that I like the dip buy on this one. I love the fact that it was bouncing off 41 even, so I knew it was going to be the first stock that I traded today, but I'm not going to let it be the last. Boeing is so strong, but there was no dip into that. It ended up holding that level from October, but there was no dip at the open, and it just sucks because I thought Boeing was a good long off that level. Maybe we can look at something like a VWAP to be able to adjust the plan, but it wouldn't be the original setup that we liked on Boeing. Mara for the curl, that's starting to come right back into VWAP here. Did this higher low. Once it broke VWAP and didn't curl, I was kind of thinking we could get 20s again. Now it's starting to look like the pre-market high at 1970. So I'll take another shot short this one, but watch out for that BTC. Like IBIT is creeping toward the high. If IBIT takes the high, I don't want to be in the short anymore on Mara.
All right. All right. I think we just have to be as patient as we possibly can be right now. I mean, like look what just happened to Google. It just went back up, and we just got another piece out there at 42. So it's like there's a lot of bouncing opportunities. Like Google just was down. That one candle was 20 cents. It's just a minute candles, but still, there is some movement here in a lot of these markets. I'm trying to buy more Google down there near O's. So let's be careful. I mean, maybe we'll put something at around 15 or so to take some shares down there again. But all right, you know what? Let's take another piece out here at 36.37. We're actually waiting at 37. Hopefully it will fly through there. There it is. We got a 37 fill. Okay, that was good. And then guess what else is happening right now? It is almost. Let's see if we can get it, man. We'll see if we can get a dollar club here on Apple as we go back up to 176. And again, if you're looking for some information of exact levels that I'll be taking every day from now on, there's Apple 175 on the sticky note. There's Intel 43. We had that early, and we've talked about that, man. We will hand up on that one. It'll be our only losing trade today. So we have 2 winning trades and 1 losing trade. So we're going to be 2-1 and hand up for that on Intel. But that story, she's not over yet. We'll take it out there at 47. We'll let this thing hopefully start to fly back up. My next offer is at 55, and then I'll have an offer in the 70s, and we'll see if we can get VWAP and then a lot higher than that. So congratulations, Juan Padilla just messaged in the chat there that he had over 3,000 shares, and that's why we don't want to talk too much about share size, because 3,000 shares for some traders, and even for me and for lots of traders, could be way too many. You got to play on your risk. So it doesn't. The share size is only relevant to how much money you're trying to make or to lose. So if you're taking 3,000 shares on this and you're holding it to 42 break and you're long right now, well, then you're risking $1,500. So if that's something that is in your wheelhouse and you're able to do that, then great. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about when I talk about share size. Just take enough that you're comfortable and confident in the position, and enough shares where you won't punch out on a whim just because of your P&L. So just make sure you're comfortable. That's the way to trade, and that's the way for longevity around here. So be safe and just trade responsibly. Feel like a drinking commercial or something.
It is. It's 10 o'clock. We've got to get to Dara for happening now, I believe.
Market slightly down right now, SPY slightly negative, but more or less flat as we await Jerome Powell's remarks and the decision from the FOMC. They are expected not to cut rates this meeting, despite earlier anticipations of a March rate cut, but definitely stay tuned for those remarks coming at 2 p.m. We get the results. 2:30, we get Jerome Powell's remarks in the Q&A, so definitely stay tuned for those. Also, we got another update for something coming tomorrow for the market. The Reddit IPO apparently reports here that they're going to try to guide the pricing of the IPO to the top of the range or above, and the earlier announced range was $31 to $35, so definitely stay tuned for that Reddit IPO expected to come out tomorrow. Individual names moving today. Boeing is one of them, initially down, now up about 0.5%, earlier up over 1%. Hearing some comments from the CFO basically saying that they're going to curtail the 737 productions in the month, and that there is actually going to be a little bit more cash burn than expected for the first quarter. So BA actually slightly up right now. We also have Tesla, now slightly down, but this one's kind of been all over the place today, announced that they were hiking prices on China-made Model Ys after announcing previous price hikes for Model Ys in the US and areas of Europe. TSLA, a bit of a mixed performance today. And last but not least, Riot getting an upgrade here from JP Morgan earlier today, up about 4%. So RIOT to the upside as well, guys.
I just got back into Mara. It's funny. Literally the exact second that Adara said the word riot, I got filled short in Mara. Sometimes the market has a sense of humor like that, but Oracle doesn't hold the 129. And you know what? Regardless of how this worked out, if it wasn't for a viewer yesterday, I don't think I would have noticed that this was making a potential breakout at a level like this on Oracle. And I'll tell you this, if it breaks above 130 again, I'm going to be long again. Whether that's today, obviously not tomorrow because I'll be in Florida, or weeks from now, hopefully again today, because if it doesn't do it today, it's probably doing it sometime soon. It's too big of a level not to trade it, in my opinion. Like, I think Oracle, it's a kind of level that can give you 5 and 10% moves. No questions asked. I am back into Mara, as I just mentioned. It's trying to put in a lower high here. Pre-market top was 1975. So if it can hold that, I'll look for a push back into that 1925 area. But I had said that there was a little bit of a push back up in IBIT, and that's what I'm tracking. If you're looking at something else, you can look at spot Bitcoin prices if you want. If that starts breaking the highs and I'm not out of Mara, I would just get out of Mara. Intel's doing its best to hold on to this low. It's putting in a higher low. It feels like it can be added to if it can hold above 42.50 again, because that was that big price level. There was a first green candle and first real strength shown at 42.25. So that's what I'm hanging on to at this point. Hampton's trader, would I take the NVIDIA 900 break or just still waiting for the 905? I mean, at this point, I haven't gotten away from the 905, but the 900 level, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere and it's just a round number. 905 is not just today's high. It's the afternoon high from yesterday. It's a little bit more significant, that 905 for me. So I would wait for that one.
All right, let us know if there's anything. We have that more Trader TV Live up. Let us know if there's anything you guys want more on that channel. I'm just going to actually call it up right now. Make sure you do check out our #1 sponsor as we go here, Real Trading. I'm going to load up more Trader TV Live right now. But if you want to trade on the same platform as all of us here at Real Trading, join us with this opportunity. Go over to realtrading.com as I Google up right now into more Trader TV Live. So you can always see our positions on here. So let me know what you guys think you want to see more of on here. These are all wrong. These last trades are wrong. I actually should put that in there. I don't know when we're going to get this fixed. We'll ask about that, but these last trades are wrong, but the positions are right. And on here, you're going to see, again, important updates. Wow, okay, Google's really starting to go right now. So again, we're going to be 2 for 3 today. Trading, and it's been a good day. The only problem is we lose on Intel, and we talked about that, but still waiting for that. Look at Google, right? This is what happens when you spin it out. There's Brendan. We haven't seen this one in a while. But Travolta's like, man, what's going on over here, man? We got some good trades going on. So there it is. It's a nice one here. Needless to say, for us on Google, as it's a nice move back up to the upside there for GOOGL. And Apple as well is getting close, of course, to that dollar club as we're long at 175.20 as it approaches 176. So, yeah, you guys want us to do webinars? Maybe that's possible. Possibly a small chart on the side of your prices. Yeah, so we could put charts for that, but again, there's a lot building right now. So
we can do anything. It's just it takes there's something into the end.
Ramin, you don't have to worry. Those last trades have never worked. By the way.
No, it's
so don't reset it.
No, don't reset it. Those have
Those have
essentially what Sean is getting at. It's at that column on the far end. It'll show the time of the last fill, but it's never correct the direction. It's almost like it only ever puts the direction you originally.
Right. Like, did you just buy Mara? Probably. Or
no,
you sold it.
No, that's true. No, I did just buy because it's at
Well,
20.
it's definitely always wrong for me.
No, but no. That one might have been right, but it's usually wrong. That's what I want to get at. So the only position I'm still in is going to be Intel. Mara could be a breakout through that price. I do not want to fight it. The $20 level has been a big and a key one. Marvell's waking up. My eyeballs are pretty glued to Meta, and Meta's catching a nice bid. The $500 breakout, you can't all be breakouts. It's holding the 95 level, so it's going to stay green today. I'm going to get my order back in there. I'd canceled the breakout because I thought we'd be looking at other things at that time, but it's looking too clean. So, it has to be 905 for something like NVIDIA, but for Meta, it's about the most obvious level that you can find. That's what the market's telling me right here on that bad boy. So I'm going to get that order in. Boeing is holding up, not Boeing. Oracle's holding up a little better than I would expect after taking out that 129. Like, it wicked, barely went red. If it can reclaim it, I'd still look for that long, but I probably need to see it back above 129.5. You've got to do something that tells me you're reversing the trend here. I'm just not seeing that. Like, you're not really showing any trend reversal, so we'll be patient for that. DraftKings is absolutely flying. I don't know if we mentioned that while I was up in the bathroom, but it just took out $45. It looks just like Oracle, except maybe a little bit more condensed. This is a triple top on the daily for DraftKings. And if you like it, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like, you can't like that kind of a setup on Oracle and then say that you don't like it on a DraftKings when you see a triple top like that. Looking like a nice little W, I guess.
Yeah, I'm down with
I'm calling it a W setup. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I am down for some DKNG, man. We did sell that name, but it's a nice move to the upside there as March Madness
find news on
hits. Well, it's just March Madness.
March Madness. I haven't filled up my bracket.
Yep. Yeah, neither have I. All right, so we'll wait to see here what's going on. Ooh, you know what we have early? We forgot to do it today, so let's just do it right now. Get people hungry. Why not? All right, as we watch out for Apple breaking 176 and Google breaking 147.50, we got some bangers on today, so let's figure out what today is for lunch. Today, Adara for lunch. You may or may not like it, but you're going to have redemption season. It's jerk chicken. With Jamaican rice and peas, caramelized roasted sweet potatoes. Miss Adara, you're going to like it. I promise you. Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction there. Crocs, C-R-O-X. This one to the upside, about 2.5%. Yep. Gaining volume right now, so not a ton of volume on this movement as of right now, but it did get an upgrade from BofA Global Research. Price target increase, from 140 to 150. CROX, guys.
I was just telling Sean, I literally, like, my parents came over and my mom's brought jerk chicken. So I promise you, no matter how good that chicken is, like, it ain't that good. It won't be that good. Oh, thank you, Randy. Appreciate you there.
Yo, Randy. Another one. Thank you, my guy.
As I turn my heater back on. Wow, PDD is now at $130. Where's Alibaba? $130. This might go red today. And if you hang on past 135, then suddenly, instead of taking like dollar hits in there, 50-cent dollar hits, that could be like $5. This is blowing it out of the water to the downside. It looks like Intel wants to retest that 45 quarter zone. So we need to see a double bottom. Obviously, now that it's come back down, took a couple legs out there at 40s and then one at 43, but it's got to show you some kind of a bounce off of that support level as we're starting to come back in here for Intel.
Let's go. All right, man. Good trading all over the place here, man. We have Google with a nice move up, man. This is really a bang, 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 bang trade right there today. So I know it's been a tough day out there, but we're going to go 2 for 3. And that's holding us right now. So we're swimming, but barely a breath, as Intel right now is making that move down. If it breaks through 42, man, we're gone on that one, and will put us red for the day. But what are we going to do? We do like that name. Unfortunately, we were, a little bit too, I guess, rose-colored glasses there. I really thought that move up here could have been sustained. It's absolutely a disaster today for Intel, honestly. Like, I thought with this news, it would have been a great thing. It's really been underperforming. All these chip names pretty much, for the entirety. Maybe if you go back to the year 2000 or something, it was aight. But right now, Intel still at this bottom. I think it's a long-term story. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about that. I don't want to beleaguer the company because, you know, they're trying to, that CHIPS Act is trying to get more chips built domestically. And I think that it's working and they're paying for it and Biden just signing over those checks. So if you're a taxpayer, I guess that's great. Maybe invest in Intel and you can lose twice. But no, you want to wait to see this for a couple years. I think they were saying like 2030 maybe.
2020, they think
yeah, so
that
2028, 2030. So either way.
26 to 28 is when they target actually getting the fab business. It's a long-term play. Like
long-term.
I've dogged them before, but I own them in my long-term for a long-term shot play because it's way too much opportunity. TSM is 85% of the fab market, and if you actually think that the United States of America wants that to be true, then I want some of what you're having. We called out DraftKings, and since then, because every time you look at something trying to break a high, it doesn't break a high until you stop looking at it, so it has not broken the high. Just to get that out of the way, Meta's still trying to get to that $500 level. Meta is relatively strong. It's held green when the market went red. It held green, obviously, by not going underneath yesterday's close price, but also it's back above VWAP, so showing some signs of strength here. I want to be patient. It's got to show me an entry point here. PDD continues to flush. It's trying to bounce off 130. I wouldn't short this on the way back up. That's just my 2 cents, because I don't really have any setups for that. Like that whole initial rubber band move can make some sense, but after that, nothing else. Intel finally, there it is. It's showing some strength off the 4020. So I was waiting for it to show strength to play a reload to see if I can get some 30s in here on Intel. We're long at 27s, but it's finally showing some signs of a bounce. Kyle Burdett. Oh, I didn't see you, Randy. Sorry, brother. Kyle, the split for Chipotle is not till June. That's the news.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. I actually
Thanks,
thought...
Randy. I'll do it. You manage yourself.
No, Brennan came. I actually thought it was happening faster than this, but then Brennan brought us the news this morning.
No.
The split's not till
Yeah.
June, so I don't think there's that much excitement until then. You know, it doesn't actually mean anything. We all know that, but it's getting a bump anyways because it's exciting for options. It's exciting for, I guess, getting added to the Dow if that's a big deal anymore. I think it's going to get a bit of a bump, but yeah, it had a good day so far when I looked at it, but I don't think it's much of a trading vehicle until then. So I just reloaded Intel at 43.30. Okay, let's go Meta. Break that 500
Oh, it
Meta.
smells too.
I know, you can smell the coffee.
No, it's not that. Ramin just get some hand sanitizer because she thought that, but I didn't get, I just got stuff on the Adidas.
Thanks.
Ramin's got everything over here. Okay, so,
That's the problem with Randy sneaking up. Like, you're just doing all this stuff.
Yeah, Randy normally is on point there. Okay, so about Intel. Intel right there, 42.50, 42.45. I mean, that's the 50-period moving average. That's where we're long. So I'm pretty happy with that kind of a trade right now. We did just buy a little bit more down here at 29. At 28. We're at 29 now. Let's see if we get a little bit of a bump up here for Intel. All this name needs to get back to is basically like 60s, and we'll be positive on the name. So that's still a little bit of a move up. We'll wait to see if it gets there. Hopefully it does, no idea. But yes, I guess I have an idea. I hope it does. So we'll wait to see if that happens. That's my idea is VWAP. So that's where 60 is. We'd love to get some out. I thought we had some offers no, I don't. So I only have offers in the 50s. Let's see if this works, man. We ought to be here for it. But you know what is working, man? Spin the money for this one. These are easily to, well, we only have a couple winners today anyways, but Apple and Google, man, have been good ones. And they're both sticky note names. We'll go 2 for 3 on those ideas. So let's review what else we have on here. PDD break of 155. We've already taken, well, I haven't taken that one. Neil, it's still going down at some point. This is going to have to stop. 128 was yesterday's level there. I talked about
At this point, the only other price is 128.
Right. I talked about never trusting the Chinese government. And there's PDD to the downside. We'll wait to see what happens here at 130 and change. There goes Apple, 52 cents. There goes Google, 55 cents. And let's go Intel. Let's see if we can get that climbing back up to the upside as well. We need to look at more names. Put some more names there in the chat.
Palantir 24.
Palantir 24, good.
If DraftKings is not going to break, if Meta's not going to break, if NVIDIA is not going to do anything, you got to start looking. And that's the problem. Like, you can have a list. Like, I'll always prepare a list of stocks that I'm watching. And if I don't get the setups, then you don't get them. You've got to try to find things on the fly. So shout out to everyone that just mentioned Palantir up 0.6, trending higher. It actually held a massive level. So it's already a bullish stock after putting this liquidity grab underneath support. So higher low, liquidity grab underneath a flat bottom. I see every reason to like along here. Whether it's dipping into previous resistance or breaking out into that 24-20 high, either one is going to work for me. I do prefer, I like that 500 on Meta, but if we don't get it, hey, we don't get it. DKNG pulled back after that break. There hasn't even been a red candle. I feel like this needs to put some kind of a red candle in there on the 15-minute, maybe show you a dip in a consolidation, and then work into some kind of a long on DKNG. Boeing, again, if you like a stock for a long or a bounce play or whatever it might be, it also has to get to your price level. And the problem with Boeing is it was just so far away from that 175 at the open. It was at 178 at the open. Now it's just absolutely gone. So we thought the bottom could be in at that October low, and I can't bring myself to buy a 184 top breakout. I see PDDs going back up, but if I don't have a setup, you need a setup to trade. Like PDD, I liked 135. So when it got to 135, it was, I had a reason to put a trade on at that price. It didn't work, got wicked out the bottom, got back in it to get some back, but obviously it was still in the midst of a downward trend, and it's not really broken that trend just yet. Like if I draw a trend line for you in here, like just since the open, first dip, there, like it still hasn't broken a sharp trend line. If it does, it's probably going to see VWAP for sure. But shout out to everyone that mentioned Palantir here. It's dipping off 24, but that could provide an opportunity to get in at VWAP, which I think would be pretty welcome. Oh, we haven't talked about Microsoft. I knew there was something else. So Microsoft also looking a little bit strong. Teensy bit. What I like about this, it was a good long yesterday, if you guys remember, but it's holding above that triple top as a higher low. So I like that setup where it's holding a higher low. If it can bounce and take out the top, that would be on the radar as well for Microsoft. Get going, Meta.
So I was just talking with some of the guys on the desk there, and we still have that, although I don't see it on here.
IPO.
Yeah, it should. I feel like it should be here, unless it's not that many shares.
ALAB
or something like that.
ALAB.
ALAB. Okay, we'll find it, but it's not. Apparently, right now, if you go to ALAB, I was talking with Brankles right there in Wayne. Yeah, there it is. So it is tapping $50. But remember that.
Oh goodness.
That
200,000.
Yeah, that tap isn't. It's been good, and I don't know. I haven't looked at it since our most recent IPO, but remember on some of the halts, it was like a little bit wonky there. So anyways, ALAB is coming to market today. We'll figure out what's going on with that one. And yeah, that is a good question there, Mira. Why is Intel dumping on good news? I mean,
some of it is this was expected.
Yeah, exactly. So it is dumping down. It is going to be my only losing stock here today. And we'll see if we can make that back somewhere else. But it looks like Intel does want to fade through $42. I don't need to keep averaging into it. So, we'll wait for a little bit lower than where we are right now to get a little bit more shares. But then if we do dump out after that, then we'll be gone on Intel, and that will be that. So Intel right now looking a lot. It's like you can dress it up as much as you want, but still looks the way it looks. Intel on the downside. Let's go over to Adara.
IWM trying to climb above here. We're still below 202 and slightly down on the day for the Russell 2000. We have quite a few small cap runners, though, to talk about, including WORX, the second day in a row. This one's had a significant move up. Right now, trading just below 40% to the upside. No news today for SC Works. Lots of social media attention and a float just above 1 million shares. So very small float could be what's propelling this one to the upside. We also have Paladine AI, this is STRC, announced a name change from Sarcos to Paladine on Monday, but no new news on this one. STRC up about 17% right now. Last but not least here as well, Kingsoft Cloud. This one, KC is the ticker, trading a little bit higher on earnings, so they had a slightly higher sales than expected here for KC, Kingsoft Cloud, very much to the upside, guys.
Go now.
Where's
There's the
JoJo?
double bottom. Casey and JoJo were
Yeah, where's
underrated.
JoJo at?
There's a Martin Lawrence skit, which it wasn't a skit. It was actually an episode of Martin, which is one of the funniest ones ever when they had Casey and JoJo on that bad boy. But double bottom. If you haven't seen it and you haven't seen the show Martin, whatever. The guy was a genius. Whatever happened to him after is fine. But Intel double bottom. If it can't get up, I suppose I had too many orders in there.
What did
if it
happen
can't
to
get
that
up to
guy
42 and a
anyways?
half in the VWAP, then this is probably toast. I'm not waiting to 42. If it shows me a double bottom, I'm just going to stop it out now with the local bottom. Well, I mean, he did Bad Boys, 1, 2, 3 in a million, and he had some other, like, I don't know. He was at a really great trajectory, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. So I'm a big, Martin Lawrence was hilarious, like Def Comedy Jam and all that stuff, but now he's not the best. Apparently, yeah, Ty behind me is like he went back in time where he was a knight. I forget the name of it, but it stunk. Meta is close to 500. So the NASDAQ just went green for a split second.
Ooh, good.
And 500 looks like it's about to go. I'm not even bothering with NVIDIA at this point because NVIDIA is not anywhere near setting up a breakout trade. You have a double top here on Palantir. I promised I would go back over to Oracle. Like I sat down today and I was like, the 3 stocks that I want to be trading are Intel, Oracle, and Pinduoduo. The bet in that situation, no, but let's be real for a second.
That happens to me too all
In
the
that
time.
situation, there is a 0% probability that I'm going to be green. 0, because all 3 of them were dogs. But at the same time, those are the 3 stocks that I like. All you can do is try to limit the amount of deals. Like I'm not still in Oracle because what I wanted to have happen, it doesn't hold the breakout. It just starts trending down, so you got to get away from it when that happens. I did try to wait as patiently as I could.
Big move up. Big move up.
But you still don't get enough. This is going to cause.
go.
This is going to get the meta break, I think. And Palantir could pop in, but I'm going to be watching the meta 500 a little bit more closely.
All right, let's go, guys. Spin it right there. And yeah, and like what Neil, I don't know if it was Neil just mentioned it. I saw Hampton's Trader mention it. Any updates you want to more Trader TV Live, put them in the chat. And then Bears versus Bulls. Don't mean to put more work on you, but I think you're already doing this. Just keep notes, Bears, if you see anything, because we do want to update it and just give the people what they want. So if there's anything that you guys want in there, please say that right now. But you know what else we're doing right now? Spinning the money because we're short AMD now. Let's see if it comes back into the downside. We're just short here at 88. It just fell into 75. We had lower bids, man. We had bid at 70. There we go. We got it. So we had lower bid at 73, 70s. Here we go right now. So welcome over to Greensville. You now do have a new member off this chicken dinner winner right now. So it was a little bit of a hard time today. We didn't get green until just now, 10:25. But thank you so much for that, AMD and Apple. I mean, Apple was a good one, right? It just ripped to all heavens here, up to 176 off of 175. AMD, nice fade for sure. We're out of half of this. It's 35 cents. And again, you know, if this is too risky for you, step aside. But right now, we're into AMD. If it breaks higher through 181, then we're going to rethink this and get the heck out of Dodge. So right now, we are now out of, quick math, about 60, 65% of this trade right now. So let's see if it continues its march to the downside or if it wants to go higher because okay, there you go. We'll take another piece out. All right, now we only have a third left of AMD as we get that 60 fill. So again, let's go, man. Let's put that on the board. Top stocks today, Apple, AMD, Google, top P&L names. So that was another suggestion that I saw from Hampton's Trader. We could put the top stocks on there. We could put stocks. Anyways, you guys, I don't want to give you guys what to do because I saw them in the chat. Bears versus Bulls, we'll get to that. And again, go over to that stream, man. More Trader TV Live to watch us when we're not on the air. There it is. Look at that. Out. So there's the break out and AMD, still a green stock.
Another one.
So there's another one. You know, you put those trades on. We just got out at 57s, out at O's. So we probably could reload that, but look at the market. The market's starting to pump right now. So let's not put, again, good money, bad money after good. We don't need to reshort this. If the market wants to rip up right now, we are hella long everything. So let's go upside. Google trying to take out, oh, wow, Google's back to VWAP. So again, let's do that right now. And there it is right there, a nice little trade for Google. So Google up to VWAP, again, another buy down there. So yeah, we're on one today. It's just we need Intel to get some of that crack.
Stay off the drugs.
No, I want Intel on drugs because right now it's like sleeping here.
No, because that's bad, man. Intel on drugs is a bad thing.
No.
Because I kind of feel like it'll just do worse.
What's it on now? Like sleeping pills?
Dramamine? Is
Right.
that a sleeping
So
pill?
it's already on drugs. So we need it on crack. We need to get going
500
here.
broke on Meta.
Nice.
Is Dram? I don't even know if Dramamine's the right word. So Meta just broke 500. It got to 501. Why is this like that NVIDIA break yesterday, where like it was? Usually I'm expecting it to already be at 1.5, 2s, but we're just chilling out at once. Oh, Palantir broke as well. So
Let's go.
Palantir broke 24 as well at the exact same time. Like, that's hilarious. So 24 broke on Palantir. We waited for that one. We waited for Meta as well. Let's go to Adara. It's 10:30 already. Let's go to Adara.
Just an update here with regards to CGC, Kennedy Growth Corp. Very strong today. This one, after falling a little bit, now back up about 16%. Not seeing any news on this one. There has been a lot of strength in these cannabis-related stocks as of late with regards to speculation over a potential rescheduling for marijuana, but lots of excitement on Twitter over this name. Big push back up to 16%, guys.
All right, yeah, stay off that weed, that's for sure. We do not want Intel on that. We need to get it going. All right, so Google right now, again, we took that piece out. In Apple, almost got to that dollar club. We were talking about this when it was 70 cents in the money, and then we did get that little bump up right now into that level. So we'll take a piece out at 176.05 and then wait for more because, like I said, we could have reshorted AMD, but we're not doing that anymore, baby. Oh, and I want to say thank you to everybody. This post, not the sticky note, this post right here where I talk about how we're a changed man. Hold on a second. Let's go over here. There's a lot of nice comments here. So if you 30,000 views, thank you so much for that. Go over, find this. I'll actually put this out right now. I'm not going to read it. I read it a little bit before. PLTR breaking out. I think we were talking about that. Anyways, trading is just about how you deal with it, right? And you know, this thing right here, the more positive you are, you know, the better things are going to work out for you in life in general. So we're going to be more positive here about some of these names, stick to our plans, and you know, just be really happy that we're able to be here and have this opportunity to show you guys every single day of what we're doing, having a lot of fun, and you know, sometimes making some money. All right, Adara, what's up with oil?
Yeah, I do have those numbers up here. We have the EIA crude oil stock change actual coming in at negative 1.952 million, much lower than consensus of positive 0.013 million. Gasoline stock change coming in negative 3.31 million, also lower than consensus of negative 1.35 million. Lots of numbers here, but those two main numbers both quite a bit lower than expected here for oil. In terms of crypto, we also had a big move down yesterday with apparently, based on the UTC time zone, we had Bitcoin register its largest single-day collapse since, or single-day loss since the collapse of FTX back in November 2022. So massive move to the downside for BTC yesterday. What I'm seeing is some of the speculations that could have occurred due to some outflows of the Grayscale ETF for spot Bitcoin. So that's what I'm seeing on that, but massive move down regardless for crypto. Though Bitcoin is trying to make a bit of a recovery today. Now we're kind of hovering around that 64,000 level. And with that, we're seeing a bit of a recovery in Ethereum as well. Bitcoin just above 64. Ethereum, after climbing to 3,200 level, now well above that 3,300 level, up about almost 4% today. Bit of a mixed performance, though, for some of these other names. BNB up about 3.5%. Ripple up 2/3%. Dogecoin really strong, though, up about 4.33%. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to check out.
Thank you so much there. And what worth noting on energy, Chevron's back in, baby. because that XOM Hess thing, XOM's not going after Hess, so Chevron, I haven't looked at it today, but it better be up today, because if it's not up when they get that deal back on, then that's a bad sign for the stock. I haven't checked. I wanted this to get to 502. Meta broke. It gave you the 01s. It's at the dip phase right now. So if it's going to dip, the breakouts have to work right away. The dip could be 495. The dip could be 498. I'm looking more in the 498 range. I think it's still a bullish stock, but it's not going to go right away. I like those things to work really, really quickly. Palantir, we did rightfully mention that Palantir also broke out. Now, so Palantir took out 24. 24.20 is the last line before you have like a clear upside to the 24.5. So if it can get through the 20, I think it's worth finding places to add to it on PLTR. So 20, it's stair step to the upside. It's above VWAP right now. If it can bounce off the 24, I do want to add back into it. If it just goes sideways for a bit and shows you another step, maybe like an 04 and 05, willing to take it in that direction as well. So just trying to be a little bit patient with Palantir. The market's trying to dip back in right now, so you don't want to get caught with your pants down as the market's coming back in. If a break is going to hold, fine. Oddly enough, as I see a little bit of red in the future, somehow Intel's deciding it wants to bounce off that double bottom now. So it needs to get to VWAP, obviously, on Intel. That'll be 42.5. I will be taking at least half out in front of VWAP because it's a counter trend trade, but it's finally making a bit of a bid. This was the place to have started going long, not on the way down in. You catch a falling knife, sometimes you're going to get sliced.
Yep.
Is that the word?
Yes, that is the word. Yeah, chopped up, sliced up.
Yeah,
all right, so we just got some out at 33 there on Intel because, like I said, man, you know, we're going to have to wait to see if Intel goes. But we take a piece out, it breaks through the 50 period, we get 33s, which is basically, the 50 period's at 30, so I was like letting it run up and then it was stalling out. So we'll take another piece out there, and it's not like it's anything any good. Our last reload rate there is 26, and then we had a 21, and then we're out there at 33. It's not good, man. We're long at 43s, but again, like 99 problems, honestly, Intel is one of them, but it's not a net. It has nothing to do with anything for me. It's going to be a red stock, but when we have Apple, I mean, Apple's $1. Like, Apple's a monster, so we'll take that, right? AMD. Come on, Sean. What's up, Patrick? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why? Oh, yeah, but anyways, we're still up on it. But there it goes. Look at AMD. This happened again. This is the exact same trade that happened to me on NVIDIA yesterday, except for we made money. We didn't get smoked. So remember, we got out just before the tank. And there it is right there. So, hey, man, we nailed it. Props it up to everybody out there that had that short. And you have a quicker stop than me. And that's, you know what? This is what I was talking about. You want to talk about catching a knife? You know, it's a double-edged sword if you're trading with more shares, because when your triggers are hit, you have to get out. You know, we talked about that yesterday. So your triggers are hit and you get out. And then when you get out, you just hope that you're able to have at least some wins before that, or just battle back the next one and make that money back, which is why we talk about putting on shares on Intel. We talked about that, but then our P&L will be up today, and we only have 3 other trades: Google, AMD, and Apple. So, I mean, look, if Intel really tanks down and breaks 42, then we'll be red today. But for right now, we're going to wait to see what happens with Intel. It's just dancing around right now, but that's why you want to have, and Neil mentioned this about those three names there. You mentioned Oracle, whatever those 3 were. If you have ideas, that's why yesterday I wasn't mad about NVIDIA, because it was an idea that I had and we lost on it. It's fine. You always look back and say, oh man, why did I have that many shares? But I know why I had that many shares, because I'm trying to do this. You know, to sit here, like, you know, we're here to take some risk. I took it. It blows up sometimes in your face, but not now. Look at AMD, nice move down, and then that's that. So it looks like Intel, I'm thinking it's going to break 42, and when it does, let's get out. Like I said, we'll lick our wounds. We have a monster day ahead of us,
My
man.
stop's at 10s.
Yeah, 230 is going to be huge.
My stop is the local bottom on Intel. I'm not waiting till the round number because it's entirely too weak of a stock. Palantir, the breakout was 24, doesn't hold 24. So I was long 24.01s to 24.10. I went long 24.02 to out 23.97. It looks like that was like a cent or 2 worth of slippage, but it's not holding on. MSTR is, really? Coinbase is at a big level right now, $240. So I was just looking at that, and I just noticed that MSTR is pulling back. That got to almost 1,500, almost at 15,000. But Coin is at, never mind, Coin was at $240. That pullback is now gone. It is what it is. I'll look back over at Mara. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. When it broke the 20 even level, got to jump out of it. Now 20 looks like a support level on Mara. Like, this looks like a spot where if it can bounce off 20, that's actually more bullish than anything else. So I was shorted originally, but I got to be thinking this is relatively strong. And sometimes you have to change your opinion on the stock. And that looks really strong off the $20 level. I hate to say it. I mean, usually been going short this stock.
I want to say thank you so much to Bitcoin Trader and everybody in the chat there. I mean, we're just glad that you're learning every single day. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about learning, right? And that's why I keep telling you. And again, you guys can ask us with Super Chats any questions you want. We're trying to work on that other site, so that's going to be a good one for us. I don't know, Juan, you mentioned that you had lost on Google. I mean, we could wind up losing on it for sure. I mean, if this falls in right now, well, we can't lose on it. I have 5% left. So we got out when it went up to VWAP right there. I'm debating reloading it right now. Like, when I see stuff like this and it looks a little bit sick though, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, hit your stop losses. Okay, well, that's good. That's okay. And like I said, like, there's going to be rough days for people, and that happens, right? Some days you can't find a winner. Some days you can't find a loser. It's about managing those days. That's all that matters. So, all right, Google comes back in here. Let's go long again. So it just came back into the 20s, did it? We didn't take that. Okay. Sometimes we teach too much and trade not enough. So we'll wait for Google. And again, we only have four names, Intel, Google, 4 names, AMD, and Apple. And we're going to go 3 for 4 on those names. So that's not bad. Intel's pending, the biggest one. We'll lose the most on Intel. But P&L, obviously, we talk about this. Google, AMD, and Apple all to the upside. And we will be reloading this down here at 147 now that I see that we just bounced off the 200 period. How did we miss that? Oh, yeah, we're hosting a show. All right, so we'll see if we can get that back in, though. Google down at that level. I like that down at 147. It, for me, is a level that we can reload. But we only have 5% left of our normal position anyways.
So we have, it's like seconds away from Sector Watch, but I've been very patient with Oracle, and it might put in a higher low with a VWAP break here. So this is one of the stocks that I like. If it's above 129, then it's above the breakout zone, and the futures are holding on to the bottom. I said this is a stock that I do want to give more than one chance. It's such a key price and a potential breakout. It would also have to go green. That's 129.20. VWAP, it's weird how this works out. VWAP would be exactly going green. So if it consolidates above VWAP, I want that long. Meta did not hold the 498.
Ouch, Meta.
So it's okay, it didn't, but it's like barely underneath VWAP here. If the futures hold, I want to be patient here. I want to see some strength, kind of like that double bottom happened in Intel. And if you got it after that, great. If you got it before, then it's been trouble. So I think the same thing. If you're going to put in a higher low, let's actually see it do something like it did in the morning. And if it can do that, then I got no issues with the long. NVIDIA, I see absolutely nothing with currently. And I think, are we ready yet? I was going to go to, I'm on the bid of MAR in front of 20 before we go to Sector Watch. And I am going to look at some energy names, but my focus right now is going to be on crypto, still sticking with Meta, and Oracle. I'm giving Oracle multiple shots, and maybe even Palantir 24 again. Let's go to the desk. Sorry, let's go to the green screen. We've got Adara and Sector Watch. Wow, Meta's still going.
Pretty flat across the board here for most of these sectors. A little bit of weakness across the board in health technology, consumer services a bit stronger, finance a bit stronger, but generally a lot of weakness. As Neil just mentioned there as well, energy and minerals definitely on watch, a bit of a drop there in oil. But again, pretty flat for a lot of these names. What's really going to matter is what we're going to be seeing coming at 2 o'clock with regards to the FOMC decision. It'd be interesting to see if or how this moves some of these stocks. Right now, though, pretty flat across the board. It is also worth noting electronic technology on watch with the Day 3 of NVIDIA's GTC conference happening today. Boeing also pretty strong off of another negative catalyst with regards to more cash burn in Q1. So interesting look here. Generally, we're all waiting for that 2 p.m. announcement, guys?
Oh, honestly, it's actually comical on Mara. So remember I said I was going to bid in front of 20? There's the wick. I mean, like you put a passive order. Passive orders can get filled or not get filled. And I threw it right at 05, so sometimes when you do that, it doesn't print at that level. So I missed out on Mara. That's going to be unfortunate, but it is what it is. It was Exom I wanted to get to in a second. But I want to go back over to Palantir because that's looking a little bit weaker off of that 24 level. Never mind, it's actually holding well. I'm out of Intel. I said my stop would be at the $10 level, sorry, the 10-cent level. You got to be able to give it up at some point. What stinks about this is when I look at it, like for all of these shots long, like if you just wait, like the best trades for me in the last 2 weeks have been breakout trades. And then I look at today, and it's like, okay, well the worst, like the stocks that I did the worst on were all dip buys. So that's one thing you got to keep track of. Like it's one thing to say, oh, I do go on this stock or that stock, but really it's more about the setup than anything else. And if breakouts have been more clean, then it's like, well, you dip bought here and it didn't work, and you dip bought Pinduoduo and it didn't work. And when I look back at my notes, I remember I said Intel 44 break, Pinduoduo breakout, and neither one of those things happened. So you got to look back and just look at the setups in addition to just the stocks that you trade, because there's like 5 or probably a half a dozen different ways that I might trade in Intel. And a dip buy at the open just happens to be one of them. So slap to fail on Intel. It definitely is a stinker today. That said, if there's relative strength in the market, it looks like it is in Mar. I cancel my 20 bid because we're not getting that anymore. I don't want it to wait to get to 21. IBIT is trying to take out the highs. If it does hold the highs, I think the roads are leading to 21 on Mara. It's just a matter of getting back in on the dip. We missed 20s once. I'll look at the 20 quarter and see if we have another shot at that. AI Trader's saying ARM is going. If ARM's going, it's a short to me. 131 is the level on ARM. So if ARM gets up there, I'm still looking 131 shorts on ARM. Nothing's changed for me on that stock, up 2.7% for some reason. Still nothing on that IPO. I'm not taking the opening print on the IPO. The open interest is way too small. It's 300,000 is the current paired volume on that IPO. We're used to seeing millions of shares.
Yeah, I'm going to be a pass on that. I'm going to be a pass on that one. All right, well, we wrote down 42.50 on Intel, but it's down here, 242 flat right now. We're still going to wait for it and see if it can get us a little bit of a bump back up right there, as we did put some more shares on. So we're long here at 42.30, and we're having quite a nice day. Today, it'll be much nicer if this name goes upside. So that's what we're waiting for right now with this, and we're hoping that it does. So if it can go, great. If not, we are out on a 42 break. Pretty easy peasy, man. This is going to be a very, very simple trade. If you like Intel, and I don't know why you might like it, but if you do like it here today, it needs to hold 42. So here we go. We'll see if it does do that. Hopefully it does, and we'll be able to move off of it. So if it goes back up to the upside, it's going to be a monster trade. So let's go. Let's just take something out here as we get some in, some out. We'll take some out at 16 if we're lucky enough to get it, then maybe at 20. So again, you know, we'll see. It's 10:45. Maybe that was just a little bit of a bounce right there. Neil's traded, I've only traded 4 names today, so I apologize for that. But I did one name that I don't apologize anything. I mean, we're green. So I think it's been a tough day today. We'll leave it at that. All right, so DraftKings, 45. So this could be a name that I get interested in, right? So if we break this top here at 45.75, then I think that's definitely something. Let's just look back here at dip buys and stuff. Right there, 45 is pretty sweet. Honestly, look at it riding this VWAP. I feel like it's very, very hard to ignore that. LIDR right now, LIDAR, I guess, starting to spike up a little bit. Is this what that is? LIDR. I thought it was LIDAR. No, it's not. It's AEYE Inc. Right now, up 21% and starting to go. All right, Intel, let's go, man. Make this dream come true for us here today. All right, let's see if it can go. We still make money on this name, man. This just needs to get back to 50 and we're up. So let's go, Intel. Let's get back to that level. There's lots of time left on this name. Here we go, Intel. Here we go. Let's see if it gets going. There we go. We'll take some 20s out. Come on, Intel, man. For your boy over here, it'll be a green day. So it's a hot dog kind of a day as opposed to what it was yesterday. And that's what we talk about. You battle back and you come back and you stare at these stocks and you say, I'm still who we are and we are on you, Intel. And I don't choose you today, but you choose me. And it's been the wrong way so far. So let's have a better relationship, Intel, and get back up to the upside. We're now long at 42.23, baby. So we're now flat on our current position. Do the little bit of math. If, like I said, if we can climb to VWAP, then we'll really start spinning the levels here. Intel trying to work. And again, we'll have different stops. We talked about that, but we're in it. Let's wait to see breaking of 42, man, for Intel is what I'm looking at for right now. I still feel like Neil, honestly, is probably going to break that.
Look, it might go, it might not go. I have a very different style of trading when it comes to these kind of things. Like, I just do not want to be fighting that stock. Like at 10:30 or actually, past 10 o'clock usually. Like I have this thing where I want to be looking for relative strength and relative weakness. Like that's why I'm over at a Palantir, because it's a stock that is actually stair-stepping. Come to my chart for a second. It's a stock that's stair-stepping to the upside. So as the market is holding the bottom, can we come to my chart, Fabian? Yeah, as the market's holding the bottom, this is a stock that's actually grinding higher. So if I'm buying a dip in this, it's showing me some relative strength going into this, this afternoon. Like it's up only 0.6%, but I like the look of the chart. So it's putting in a higher low. I'm going to jump back into it. Just want to try to keep the winners and losers on par. So like whatever an up day is for you, try to make that be a down day, and then you're never usually freaking out. Or if you have, like some people have a rule like I'll take 3 shots at it and then I'll stop. That's a weird rule to have because you never really know what the day is going to do. But I just kind of look at it. If it's not breaking the trend after a certain amount of information, then I'm going to back off of it until some actual time gets put on, and then look for stronger stocks. Like this looks like a pretty strong stock on Palantir. I thought Meta could do the same, although Meta has held pre-market lows. So on the NASDAQ, it's held a higher low on Meta. I like the 500 break. That didn't work out. You can see it pull back. If it can get back above VWAP, I got my eyeballs on that one. I wanted it to hold 498. Right, so it hasn't held that price. Maybe it could bounce off 495. If it doesn't, then we don't have to trade it. What do I think about TTWO? I have not looked at Take Two in a hot minute, Yoel. I don't mind looking at new stocks. I can promise you this is one that I have not looked at in a while. That's pretty strong, up 2.5%. Where is it on the daily? Literally not loading. That's making a nice bounce. But it's already, see, look at this consolidation. It's already broken 147. That's the kind of trade where, okay, great, it's broken the 147. Now you're chasing the breakout. I'm not a huge fan of chasing that breakout. Oh, I'm not done with Oracle. Oracle, I felt like since I actually went to bed and was thinking about Oracle specifically, like, okay, Oracle might not have a catalyst, but don't forget about it because it's at that key level. I knew it wouldn't likely be on the watch list because there wasn't a catalyst. It's holding, but it cannot seem to break. So I'm not getting long unless it can hold VWAP. It's got to go green, and if it can hold green and consolidate like this, then I want to go long Oracle one more time.
All right, so in what seems like a good decision, yeah, we're loving some Oracle, that is for sure. All right, so what was a good decision was getting some out on Intel when it went up to these levels. So out at 33, out at some 20s, and like I said, just trying to build this case for Intel. But when we were up here, we were like, it's probably, remember, I was like, Neil's probably right. It's going to break lower. So it just faded again off the 50 period, like missed the 50 period, missed the 50 period, missed the 50 period. What I mean by misses, it's not like it's hitting it and then just dropping back down. So it's like not getting that as support. So that's going to be a problem for Intel, but again, not too many problems anywhere else. We'll wait to see if we get Google reloaded. Shout out to Chef Joe, who will be connecting on Twitter, and a shout out to everybody in the chat, because without all of you, this show wouldn't, quite frankly, wouldn't exist. So thank you to everybody for that. And on that note, please hit the like and the subscribe. You do have the midday. We're going to go to Adair in a minute. What are you guys doing today? Retracement. All right, measured move pullback. Oh yeah, that's right, Fibonacci's. And I think that tonight, let me just double check. Let me ask my booking agent. Okay, Sean, who do you have on the market recap show tonight? We have the Fibonacci Princess. It's Tammy Marshall will be on tonight, so it will fit perfectly with my guy over here's midday show. So join these guys as we'll talk all about that. Then you can sharpen the knife before you talk to Tammy tonight on the market recap show. So
It's a good beak wetter.
yeah, so shout out to Sharif and to Adara and to everybody that I know you'll all be there tonight. So I'll see everybody on the recap show. 8 more minutes of us, then them, and now Adara.
DXY pretty strong heading into the hotly anticipated FOMC decision. Expecting that there won't really be much of a change here, but we will get some remarks from Fed Chair Jerome Powell around 2:30. Definitely stay tuned for that. Interesting, we are kind of heading into this meeting around this area of previous resistance around 104.20s. Right now, just above 104, so it'll be interesting to see what we do once we get those comments from Jerome Powell and from the Fed. Also, some other Fed speak to watch out for. In the coming days after what we get today. We get Fed Bar tomorrow. Then on Friday, we get Fed Chair Jerome Powell again, Fed Bar again, and then Fed Bostic. So lots of Fed speak on the horizon after we get the decision today, guys.
Oh, there's always a lot of talk, but the only talk that matters is when the man hits the podium himself. You get that dot plot. The last I checked, I think it was like if it only takes two members to get a little bit more hawkish, and then you're pushing that 3 hikes to 2 on that dot plot. So that's what I guess that's what we're all looking out for. I mean, well, you'll know right away because like it's like a picture, so you can like literally tell. ARM just came in. Look, ARM. I feel like ARM. Everyone. It wasn't a sell the news event because it was like a buy the news event when the IPO lockup expired. Like everyone expected the stock to tank, and it actually showed some strength. But it's been in a downward trajectory. So there's it in the downward trajectory. It just made a pop. The market is rolling back over. It showed a double top, but there was also an order that flashed in front of 128. Now, that being said, it is a double top. It's a setup I'd usually take. Somebody showed up on the offer in front. I'm like, ooh, I'll jump in front of that guy. So if it breaks out the top, I'm going to get out anyways. This is a VWAP retracement play. 127 is close enough to VWAP, so I'm going to put a bid down there. Got to have something to the south side, not to force it. But when I see that setup and I saw a seller in front of that double top, taking the shot on ARM, we do have Palantir looking for an add once it can hold above 24 or maybe at VWAP. It's nicely going sideways. So if the market bounces, it's holding a nice stair step to the upside on Palantir. Did I say hike? I meant cuts. If I said hikes, I meant cut. You'd get a cut, and you'd push the cut back, not the hike. They're not hiking. That's absolutely not happening this year. If they hike this year, then I'm not even imagining a scenario that would cause that to happen at this point.
Yeah, they're not going to unless
No, I might have misspoken. I don't think I did, but
unless it gets real heated out there. I don't think that will happen. We'll have to watch we talked about this on a course. Let me check with the booking agent again about the podcast. But we talk about that on the podcast. What could change? What are we looking forward to? Go find the podcast there, and we'll find it tonight as well. Okay, so not much happening on my side there. Let's look at Tesla right now quickly. Again, in the chat, you're into ARM there, so we can have a look at that. But Tesla right now, okay, so Tesla's at a nice level here of 173 and change. Could possibly be a short rate there. Did we tweet something out about Tesla before? Because we were looking at this earlier. And why would, it was probably 170 because that's where the 200 period is. And those are some of those dips. So it didn't quite get there. But where did we get off the open? Okay, so actually went to the upside. And then, 170.80 is not, for me, close enough to 180. Or 170. Actually, it probably could have been, but we would have waited for that because for me, sort of the line in the sand is down there at 168. So that's, I can see that. Oh, here we go. I am bidding. I'm bidding right now. 170. I just saw. I was like, I'm probably bidding 168. I'm bidding 170.05. I'm still bidding that right now. So I still have an order to go long on Tesla at 170.05. We didn't even come close. We got to 170.85. Okay, Intel, I see what you're doing, and I like it. So let's hold above. We just took some more outs here at 23s. So we're going to hold out for you, Intel. You and I can still be friends, my guy. Let's see if we can go back up to the upside. We have one losing stock today. It's going to be Intel. But that hopefully is short-lived. Let's see if it goes back up to the upside. The only mistake that we did was not put more shares on down there at 42.10, 42.05. We're bidding 42.05, but it didn't get that low. So we should have just upped it a little bit. So there it is. See, we got 4208s or something, 4207 right there. We had a much bigger order down at 4205 that we missed by pennies, or 1 penny. At least we have something now. Let's see if Intel can go, man. We're going to have to now sit on our hands because we'd like to get this to a positive name. So nice little move upside here for Intel. Let's see if we can get it to work.
So just Britt just asked in the chat there, is it time to sell some Oxy? Asking me because I bought Oxy in my personal account at that Buffett low. I thought I mentioned this yesterday. Apologies if I didn't. I swear I said I sold yesterday the stock because I was going to wait for up here, and it's been such a I've been looking for like enough strength to just say, okay, I'm getting out of it and putting it somewhere else. Like, just throw all the old dollar cost average back into the markets like we're doing. It was just a really slow grind off 56. My play for energy and the one I'm buying and dripping and all that stuff is CVX. So that's the one I invest in. It's never really been Oxy. Oxy to me was always going to be a trade. And here we go. I'm still in CVX, not really doing anything with this. The last buy I had was at this triple bottom at 141, but I'm out of Oxy. It's not to say that, hey, you got to sell Oxy. It's just a matter of, we'll tell you guys, hey, we happen to be doing this, or this is what I see, and this is what I think is a reasonable thing to do. And I had mentioned that I like that Buffett bottom, but I'm out of it now. Usually it bounced much faster to give you that kind of move, and it really only gave 15%. And there's a lot of things you could have had at that time that would have been better. I mean, heck, you could have been in Robinhood during that time, and you would have done better. All right. Which is painful to say, because SoFi, I was saying this to Sean, SoFi actually looks like, let's go back to the daily chart. SoFi looks like it's gearing up for the wrong thing down here. It broke this double bottom, and it's consolidating underneath it, which is a very bad sign. Like consolidating underneath the previous support area, usually it's like, okay, do that and then fall the next level down, which would be that $6 level. I'm invested in SoFi, that's why I'm bringing it up. I am in Palantir at 24, as you guys can see. I mean, 23.99 is exactly the same thing in front of VWAP. Maybe we get the Buffett bottom again, Britt. You could be right. But that's just a play because Warren Buffett's been buying every single time when the stock gets under $60. Eventually, he will stop or just own the company.
All right. Okay. Yeah, just messaging there as it was hockey related. Okay, only a little bit of time left now. We will end the day green, so we'll fire off some hot dogs here, but it's not really green. It's just in the pocket, and it's because of Intel. I mean, we're red. Actually, right now we're red. Right now, it goes up and down with it for the day. But a good day overall here today, as we waited for that one. Now we're gonna wait to see what happens here on the Fed, and we should be able to have a lot of fun with that. So again, thank you so much. Yeah, Michael Noss is the man, that is for sure. So thank you for that. And if you want to see more of Michael Noss, he's on the recap show. He's also here Mondays and Fridays, book ending the week. So very, very, it's good to follow some of those traders, but remember, you have to trade your book and understand sort of the risks that some of these guys take versus the risks that you want to take. But yeah, so far so good there. 64.2, it looks like Bitcoin's trying to go back up. The level that we wanted for Coinbase was 235. We actually, first time looking at it all day today. Nice move up. I think we want to fade Coinbase at some point. So we'll look to see if there's any good levels, maybe 244. Looks pretty good up there. That's not too far away. Feel that we could have a nice little winner here on Coinbase. Stay tuned. Check more Trader TV Live. Yeah, Neil's on vacation for a week and a half, so it'll be Obi filling in a little bit coming up, but he'll be back at 2 p.m. So we'll see you guys then. And for now, let's go over to the midday show, and we'll talk and learn a little bit about some Fibonacci's as well.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly